studios. I'm Joe Hunk. Brian Callahan is getting to work, as earlier today we found out that he is going to be hiring Ravens defensive back coach Denard Wilson as his brand new DC. Last season with the Ravens, he had the number 3 passing defense in the NFL, and the team defense as a whole had a number 3 scoring defense before that. Yeah, he was the defensive back coach for the Philadelphia Eagles, who had the number 1 pass defense and the number 2 overall defense in the NFL on their way to the Super Bowl. Just a few minutes ago, we found out that the Titans are hiring wide receiver coach Tyke Tolbert as their brand new wide receiver coach. He was recently on the Chicago Bears staff, and fun fact for you, his first job was with Coach Mack. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Vols, the flagship station for your Tennessee Titans, as well as home to 3HL. This is 104.5 The Zone.
HL 104.5 The Zone. Brent Doherty with you on a beautiful day in the Music City. Hope you're having a great Thursday. Dawn Davenport is here.
Hi.
What up, Dawn?
Let's go. Happy Thursday.
How are you? You good?
Great. Rocking it. Let's go.
Got your hair up in a bun, which means you'll be all rip-roaring ready to go today because you got less oxygen flowing to that brain.
Hair's nice and tight today. Watch out.
Ron Slay is here.
What up? I'm in the building. That'll be ready. Car ain't got no roof.
What up, Slay?
What up, Doe?
We will get to the SEC basketball stuff that you dealt with yesterday. Kentucky goes down. SEC's crazy this year.
Everywhere's crazy.
And the Titans have hired a defensive coordinator. We'll get to that in just a second. But they have reportedly just hired a wide receiver named Tyke Tolbert. And guess who hired him?
Wide receivers coach.
Wide receivers coach. What did I say?
They've hired a wide receiver.
Oh,
You might get, hey,
They need to go play.
you know what? He might be able to help him in that aspect too. So.
Player coach. You see that? That's
Right.
that's how rumors start. Hey, coach, what's up? How are you?
Hey guys, just riding down the road, but with Ramon, we're doing good. 80 miles out of Las Vegas, coming back from Mobile.
Did
There you go, Coach Mack.
Does Ramon have his own binoculars so he can spot cops on the way up, or is he still using yours?
You know what? Hey, let me tell you what he said. I know you don't have much time, so I won't. I don't get into much tomfoolery. But they had a little roadblock. There's about a 15-minute delay. He said, "Mac, if you'd hand me your binoculars, I can look up ahead and see what's blocking us."
There you go.
Coach Mack joins us.
There we go.
So the new wide receivers coach for the Titans is a guy named Tyke Tolbert, and he has been a wide receivers coach in this league for a long time, including the time that you hired him as wide receivers coach in Arizona. What do we need to know about Tyke Tolbert?
No, he's the best. I mean, I hired Tyke out of Florida. When I was a head coach, Jerry Sullivan, he played for Jerry Sullivan at LSU. Jerry Sullivan was my offensive coordinator. He said, "Mac, I'm telling you, this young coach is one of the best in the country." And I hired him and brought him in there, and he's been a receiver coach in this league for 20 years now. He's an absolute, first of all, he's a he's a damn good ball coach, and he understands it. He gets that position. If anybody didn't know who Jerry Sullivan was, that was his mentor. Jerry Sullivan is like the wide receiver whisperer in the National Football League. I mean, for years, Larry Fitzgerald has gone to him in the offseason, and a lot of the other guys around the country do. But anyway, he recommended Tyke, and I hired Tyke, and have been we've been pretty good friends ever since. He's an excellent person, but let's just talk about his coaching ability. And for 20 years in the league, you last 20 years in the league, coaching in this league at various clubs at one position, that means that the league understands that you are really proficient at doing that. So that's a great hire. And of course, Denard, I was with Denard for 5 years at the Rams. That's another excellent hire. I've been in both of those guys' meeting rooms. I've been on staffs with them, so I know both of those dudes very, very well.
So let's hit on Denard Wilson. Reportedly, the Titans' new defensive coordinator was the defensive backs coach for the Ravens. So this will be his first stint as a DC, correct?
It will be, but he's been a passing game coordinator on the defensive side of it. Again, he's very, very proficient at that. And I'll just say this, and again, it's none of my business, because the guys that I've come involved with, especially coaches, over my how many years, a lot of years that I've been in this league, I stay in touch with them, and they stay in touch with me. So that network is pretty wide. And I tell you what, he was at Philly, and when Gannon got the job at Arizona, they should have named him the coordinator there at Philly. They didn't, and you see how that worked out. And so that's why Baltimore jumped on him. The guy's really good. He's really good. He gets ball. He understands defense. I've been in his meeting room. He understands defense from the back end to the front end. But, yes, this is his first coordinator's job.
So there are some people that say, okay, you've got a first-time head coach. It's looking like perhaps, we don't know yet, you might have a first-time OC and then the first-time head coach who's calling plays for the first time. And now you also have a first-time defensive coordinator. Do you think that that's important? Or if it's not, if there shouldn't be a reason to worry about it, then why?
Don, for our listeners, which I love our listeners, I love our fans, ask them if there was never a first time that they did anything job-wise.
But you got a bunch of people in there first.
Well, that's why I say everybody has to have a first time. There will be plenty of veteran coaches, I promise you. I know more than I talk about, but I'm telling you there will be.
Okay. Well, and you mentioned veteran. To go back to Tyke Tolbert, 56 years old. So it's not like he's a 34-year-old, up and coming kind of new guy. How important?
Man.
What?
Just call the guy old. Why don't you?
I mean, I'm not calling him old, but look at all these coaches that are getting hired. They're all 36, 37, 38, 39 years. I'm not saying that 56 is old. I'm just saying at least he does have a lot of experience in this league, Mayor. Mayor took that to heart because he's like, wait a second, I don't know how far I am off of 56. Hold on.
I do know.
No, but Coach Mack, how important is it for a young, God, I'm getting killed now in our chat, a young head coach to have a guy like Tyke to bounce things off of?
All right, I'll try to protect you a little bit in the chat. Here,
Thank you.
Even though these guys are now 39 years old, 36 years old, because of the way the National Football League has evolved, guys, when I was first hired, there was only 7 to 8 coaches per staff. So it took a long time to get into the league. Now, with there being 20 to 25 coaches on staff, your entry time and your entry level is younger and earlier. You say a guy's young as a 39-year-old head coach. Well, he's been in the league 14 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the difference now. People
that's a good
have to
point.
reset. Yeah, you got to reset your mind on that because they're coming into the league a lot earlier as coaches than they ever used to in the past. If you came into the league, I came in the league, at 31 years old, and there were the 3 youngest coaches in the league at the time were myself, Jeff Fisher, and Bill Belichick. But there were not that many coaches on staff. So now that mindset is different. So these guys are ready and prepared. They're not any of them getting a job the first year they've been in the league. And so that I think you need to put that into perspective. But Tyke is a very veteran coach. You've heard me say many times on these airwaves, the one thing you can't manufacture is experience. He's got plenty of experience that will help a lot of people on that coaching staff and the offensive staff in particular.
Coach Mack, don't you see it similar to kind of like what Rand's doing as far as putting his staff together around him, Callahan doing the same thing? When you come up with guys, when you jump in the league 23, 24 years old, and you see guys come up through the ranks, you kind of trust them being able to come from the ground floor all the way up and know that they put in the same grind. Wouldn't you attribute that to them having the upper hand as far as getting them to get into coaching? Like he trusts these guys.
Well, yeah, and connections are everything in this league because it's a people business.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just hire someone because of their age,
right.
either a younger age or an older age. You hire them because believe that they can do the job, and people that you have seen do the job. You know, Rand Carthon's got a vast network. I mean, he's been on the road for his career. He knows these people, and when you're coaching in this league, you know who the good coaches are, because it's a small group. Even though now there's 25, 28 coaches per team, you still know everybody, and you know who they are. You know who's who in the zoo. Just like on the road, when you put boots on the ground on the road scouting, you know who the dudes are that are getting the job done. So to your point, Ron Slay, you're 100% spot on.
Real quick about Denard Wilson, Coach Mack with us on 3HL, a couple of coaching hires for the Titans that we will be talking about during the entire show today. But Denard Wilson, so 9 years as a defensive backs coach. How acclimated can he be to immediately transition into the role of coordinator, having that experience with those defenses, watching systems be implanted, watching game plans be put in, being a part of all of that? And as a DB coach, you have to work with all of the other areas of the defense too, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's exactly right. Like, I meet with him every year at the Combine just to sit and talk and check in on him, see how he's going. He's been ready for this for about 3 years.
Yeah.
I mean, just, you know, sitting down, talking ball. I mean, he's been ready for this for 3 years. But it's important. It's important. And as I said earlier, you know, to Don, he knows. I mean, I've seen him put in game plans in a secondary room, but he knows how to tie it in to what the game plan is that week, with what's going to go on in front of him with the linebackers, and what's going to go on in front of him with the defensive line. He's not a guy that's been looking at the secondary through a straw all those years. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I mean, he knows defense.
His influences, I think I saw a sound bite, which was like who are they?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you know more than we do.
I don't know any more than you do. You give me a lot of credit.
Ramon laughing.
Oh, yeah, Ramon laughing. Jeff Fisher, Greg Williams.
Yeah.
Okay. Now he's been in Baltimore. He's been in Baltimore. So, I mean, he understands. And it goes beyond that. I mean, when you go to the Combine, and again, you got me talking now. You go to the Combine, you see who people sit with during the Combine, to watch the groups, to watch people work out, hear them talk. I promise you, his network on the defensive side of the football is very big, very big.
All right, Coach. Hey, thanks for hopping on. As Trippin' Titan says, Coach Mack knows everybody. It's crazy.
He does.
Ramon just said that when we were driving down here. He said, Mac, you know, we're sitting there at the Senior Bowl, and everybody wants to stop and talk to you. I said, no, Ramon, they saw me sitting with you. So that was the thing. They wanted me to introduce them to you. That's what they did.
Who's driving?
That's how they all came up with it.
Who's driving this rig is my question.
It's Ramon is driving the rig. He is one of the best drivers in the world. Plus, I wish he'd have gotten a little bigger truck. That's all I want.
All right, Coach. Y'all be careful, and we'll see you soon.
See you.
All right, there he is, Coach Mack. He actually hired new wide receivers coach Tyke Tolbert when he was with the Arizona Cardinals into his first job, and worked with the new defensive coordinator, Denard Wilson. We'll talk more about it. Titans hiring coaches. What do you think? 615-737-1045.
Hey, great news out there, because those mortgage rates have come down. So if you're stuck with a terrible rate from last year or the year before, Loan Pronto can help you switch it out for a much better payment, and they do it fast with no appraisal and with no closing costs. So you can lower your payment now if you're buying a new home. Loan Pronto can and will be anyone else's rates. Now, let's say you want to do a home improvement project and it's way too expensive and you need to get $50,000, $80,000, $100,000 out of your home's equity. You can do it in about 5 days with Loan Pronto and use that money for your project, or maybe you just want to get credit card debt free for 2024. Loan Pronto can do all of that for you. Seize the moment. Snag a great rate for that new home purchase. Do a full refi. Maybe just get cash out of your equity. Loan Pronto, the place to call. LoanPronto.com. Just go ahead and check that out. You can start the whole process there or just call them 615-499-5780. That's LoanPronto.com at 615-499-5780. Loan Pronto, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
3HL 104.5, The Zone, Britt Doherty, Don Davenport, Ron Slay. Producer for 3HL is Joe Hunk.
Sup?
Titans have hired a couple of coaches. Ravens defensive backs coach Denard Wilson as defensive coordinator and Tyke Tolbert as wide receivers coach. Coach Mack does know everybody. Isn't it funny that the Titans hire a wide receivers coach that Coach Mack once hired as wide receivers coach?
Yeah.
That is so funny to me. With regard to Denard Wilson, you asked a great question about mentors for him as he's been coming along, and Coach Mack has known him since he was with the Rams. And I forget who put this out there, Hunk, but it was a soundbite from, I think, like a year ago where Denard Wilson was asked about that.
His A to Z.
A to Z Sports. There you go.
I think he was still with the Eagles then, right?
Was he with the Eagles at that point? Okay.
Yes, this was training camp in 2022.
Yep.
Yeah, so last season.
Mm-hmm.
Not this season.
Right, not
right. He was with the Eagles for a couple of years, with the Ravens for 1 year. But take a listen.
Look, I've been doing this for a long time, and I've been around some great defensive coordinators, in my opinion. You know, I've been groomed by Greg Williams. I've been groomed by Todd Bowles, who are very good in this league, and they're very thorough. So, you know, I've been tutored by them. I know how to run a ship. I know, the responsibility. So, if the opportunity presents itself, I'll be ready for it. But I'm here where my feet are, all right, and I'm just trying to be the best defensive back coach that I could be.
1 minute of him, I like him.
I like that. Sound confident.
He did his job in 2022 as well.
Yeah.
Yes,
he did.
Yes, he did. And then I know a bunch of the players went to bat for him to kind of take over and get promoted and all that. And was it Sirianni that didn't do it? And then he ended up at Baltimore. So last season he was with Baltimore as their DB's coach. So all that to say, his players spoke very highly of him and loved him.
Yeah, talking about bridging that gap. He is that guy. It sounds just like it. Like he can walk in the room and seem like he commands it and he knows how to do his homework. So you don't talk that confident if you're not confident. Like
right.
you can do the work. Proof in the pudding with him. I'm anxious and interested to see how all of this comes together, because when you have a blank slate, you know what I'm saying, and you got guys that you've seen come up, like we asked Coach Mack, man, it's something else when you watch guys come up from the bottom and climb up the ladder, and you get in this small fraternity. It's something else, man. It's something else. I'm anxious for it. I think young is what you need. You need to evolve. We've been stuck, I think, in a mold as far as the Titans franchise, and it's time on all fronts. On all fronts to do that. Like out with the old, in with the new, and I think it's gonna work, man. I'm excited about it. I'm very excited about it, especially getting to hear these talk. Like you hear that hunger in their voice, like they anxious to get to it. That's what you need, man. That's gonna be good. Especially you gotta get a turnover in roster as well. Like who else knows young talent than younger coaches? Yeah, I ain't taking nothing away from the vets, but these guys are on the ground with these guys when they come to skill training and all that, doing the drills. Like they're on the ground doing it. This is gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be fun.
615-737-1045 at 3HL 1045. So how much do you think it helps an offensive coordinator calling plays for the first time? By the way, both coordinators are calling plays for the first time, so there's that. But how much do you think it helps an offense coordinator to call plays for the first time with a guy with so much experience sitting right next to you as wide receivers coach now?
I think it helps tremendously. I think it helps more so than in the game. I think it's going to help, but I think more so in the film room and setting up and practice and getting things going. I think that's where you find different nuances that you don't know. You get to lean on him and he come whispering and y'all go watch practice together again on film. There's going to be so many things pointed out. You're going to be like, dang, okay, I didn't know that. And those little wrinkles, I think that's why you see guys like Andy Reid reaching back to get guys like Bieniemy. I think that's why it works, because somebody else can throw a different wrinkle now vice versa, because one is older and one is younger, but the one that's younger is calling the plays. But you can always learn, man. It's good to have people to have a soundboard. And he knows what his job is. He ain't got to look over his shoulder and think that this guy's coming to take his job. He's here to assist. That should work. Should work. Yeah, got the personnel too, though. But
A lot more to do.
yeah, a lot more. But right here on the surface, what we got, give me that.
So, with regard to Denard Wilson, coaching the NFL since 2012, Ravens 2012 to 2016, Jets 2017 to 2020, Eagles 2021, 2022, and Ravens 2023. Those are historically good defenses.
I was going to say he's been good wherever his unit has been good wherever he's been.
I believe that to be true, too, without a tremendous deep dive, which we will take before tomorrow's show. All this just going down today. Denard Wilson and Rand Carthon in with the Rams for the exact same period of time, 2012 to 2016. Rand was director of player personnel in that time frame. Wilson went there the same year, 2012 to 2014. He was defensive quality control, coached DBs 2015 and 2016. I wonder how much of this hire came from Rand Carthon.
Well, him and Callahan weren't anywhere together.
Right.
So who knows, but you would assume.
Right. I just thought it was
to your point.
That part of the job description when it was released was weirdly worded to me about Rand having control of the coaching staff. I have to go back and read how it was written.
Yeah, but it was written that he would be a part of the process, right?
I think.
But yeah. I mean, what?
Either way, I think it's a. You are in a small fraternity, so it's nothing. If we're in radio, if yours been in this business for as long as he has, it's nothing he don't know about Babsy. It's nothing that Babsy can't find out about. Charlie Cook, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can all ask someone and
throwing Charlie in there.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Throw some random people in there. But it's easy to find out. Once you get in that fraternity, like the basketball world, I can pick up the phone and find somebody. You talk about it all the time, 6 degrees of separation. So regardless if I've been there with the person or not, I can get the lowdown on them. You know what I'm saying? And if they've been grinding, he's been in AFC North. You know what I'm saying? Guess where his dad coaches? In the AFC North. Mm-hmm. So they, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's all kind of ways to figure out who's who and what they're about. Should you trust this guy? The Eagles didn't. You see, and like everybody said, you see where they went. Like,
they could have hired him as DC and they didn't.
Yeah, so.
Here's what it says. Rand, his role expanded to include full roster control and oversight of the coaching staff. That was worded weirdly to me.
That was weirded wordly.
Weirded word.
But to me, oversight is just I'm watching you to make sure you're doing your job.
Yeah. Right, but I mean that literally is such a huge word that, that could mean anything. Like, that could mean that he helps hire coaches.
Exactly why they
uses the word. Yeah,
did it that way, right?
These are smart people.
Yeah.
I'm just glad that they did identify roles. That's good. 615-737-1045. What do you think about these hires? Denard Wilson, Ravens defensive backs coach, the new defensive coordinator. He goes back with Rand Carthon. And Tyke Tolbert, wide receivers coach, once hired by Coach Mack. Danny in the borough. Danny, what's up?
Hey, what's up, guys? Appreciate you taking the call. I wasn't even on hold very long. That's good stuff. Hey, I just wanted to say that there's one thing that all three of these, head coach and both coordinators have in common from what I've read that I think points to major success for the Titans, and that's that they've drafted, developed, and retained young talent in their respective organizations, which is the one piece that I think has been the biggest missing factor in the Titans' roster building and team management. So the fact that they can bring in some of these young guys, especially since the Titans are expected to have a very young defensive secondary next year, I think it's just a fantastic thing for the organization. I'm super happy for you guys, but I love all three of these guys. I think you got some winners on your staff for sure.
Thank you, Danny. Good to hear from you, man.
Thanks,
Whoa,
Danny.
Hello. Told you I'm out of my head. I just hit a hotline that I didn't even know we had. Look at that, Hunk. We've got 4 hotlines?
We're just discovering all sorts of new things. We get good coaches and all sorts of stuff start to open up for us.
I want to hear. Remember Brian Callahan's introductory press conference? He did his press conference at 1 o'clock, came on with us at 5 o'clock, and he was asked during the press conference about the defensive coordinator position. What are you looking for there? And then what kind of defense you're going to run and all of those things. And that's a really big picture question to ask a coach who just got a job and hasn't even interviewed a defensive coordinator. But I did think he said something interesting when he said, what did he say? He said something like, I want someone that would be tough for me to game plan against.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hear exactly what he said about that.
At the end of the day, you got to have a very flexible and adaptable defense. You still have to be physical. You still have to run and hit. You have to tackle well. You have to force errors. There's a lot of things you can do that in the coverage structure game, in the pressure package game, where it makes it really hard on an offense. And so I know what gives me problems. I know the hard defenses to game plan against, and those are the things that I'm looking for in the style of defense we're going to play.
There you go, iron sharpening iron.
So Sam Phelan put it out there. Callahan's Bengals averaged just 176 passing yards in 2 games against Denard Wilson's secondary in 2023. Not that that's why you hire a guy, but I do think that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think he did exactly what he said he was going to do. I think he hired a guy that he thinks he would have a difficult time game planning against.
I know that here we go. Debbie Downer Davenport over here.
DDD.
I know I feel like, you hire new coaches and you do get a new staff and whatever else, and it's always positive. Well, look what this guy did here, and he was a hot commodity and whatever. At the end of the day, you don't know how they're going to turn out. My one concern is what I asked Coach Mack about first-time head coach, calling plays for the first time. Don't know for sure, but from reports, probably going to be a first-time OC joining the staff, right? And now you have a very first-time DC. Even though he's 56 years old, he's been in this league a while, he has that kind of experience. You still can look at it and say, hey, it's a first time for a position. And Coach Matt can say, yeah, it's there's always a first time for every great coach out there. I get it. But I still think, not to be Debbie Downer, but I still worry about that a little bit. As a Titans fan, I would worry a little bit that you have all of these guys in these roles for the very first time ever. What?
I don't disagree with that. I think that's definitely something to watch.
I mean, especially when it's heat of the moment in a game, you're calling plays for the first time on all levels. And I know Callahan said, relax.
I'm less concerned about that part of it. I'm less concerned about that part of it.
I'm less concerned about the offensive, his part of it. But when you have that, because I don't feel like he'll be as involved game day with the defense.
Well, I like what remember when Callahan told us during our interview with him, conversation with him, that it's the calling of the plays in real time during games is not the most vital part of it.
Right.
Because
people make a bigger deal about it.
That's done during the week. The game plan is put together during the week. So you have, if you see these color-coded sheets when they're on the sideline, I mean, they're color-coded in a lot of cases, by down and distance and situation.
Oh, that's right. Denard's only 41. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
How concerned are you?
You should have stopped me there.
I'm not concerned at all. Like I think you need
Tyke is 56.
I think you need the fresh talent in, and it's even with them being fresh, like Coach Mack said. Like you look at guys, these guys come into the league nowadays, man, after their playing career, maybe on the practice squad, get an injury, and you're in the league. You know what I'm saying? At 24 years old, so you're seeing it go through. It's not like he took a break or something of that nature. Like. And he wasn't given to him at 26. Like, you're looking at a guy now that's 24. So whenever he came in, he at least got 15 years, 14 years of experience of watching guys and watching experienced defenses and being able to look around the league and watch and study other teams that are bad. Probably could have studied the Titans and been like, look how horrible they were in this situation. This is what I would change. And I'm sure those questions probably were asked when the interview process took place. So, because you don't hire or stamp it if you're working in collaboration with Callahan, I'm going to go back and ask questions. Hey, man, did you hear how you answered this situation? I don't really know. Like me, I don't think I would have thought of it that way. What you think? And then, you come back and you know what? I think it's different. So I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all, man, because you got to have a trial and error. Like, I don't think he's going to come in here and have the purple people eaters or anything like that going on. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be It ain't gonna be the monsters of the midway or nothing like that, right?
Well, I mean, there's some severe holes on defense.
Yeah,
now.
without question. So once you get the personnel in place, I think you got to scheme it up and.
But you also have
success.
some pretty big pieces.
Right, but you need a
And
middle
Big Jeff and
linebacker.
Harold Landry, right?
You need a middle linebacker. You need two middle
and
linebackers.
Roger McCreary.
Because, Roger McCreary. You need two inside linebackers, though, because Al Shire's going to be gone.
Yeah.
And,
You think for sure?
Yeah. Unless they overpay the crap out of him.
Yeah,
163 tackles. He's going to get a ton of money somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, he could come back, but they would have to choose to overpay the crap out of him. And then your other inside linebacker is basically a rotational player, all things being equal. And then you're losing Danico Autry probably. You need a cornerback.
And when it comes to defense, you always hear about defensive coordinators being really good when they have been in the secondary or linebacker spots.
You need a safety. Yeah, I've always heard that about defensive backs, like secondary coaches and special teams coordinators.
Because understanding the defense from the back to the front
and it has to,
a real thing.
And it has to work. It has to be woven like a tapestry, so to speak. And then the special teams coordinator, like John Harbaugh was a special teams coordinator, they work with players from all of the positions. And so that's why I was just looking at the Ravens coaching staff, some interesting coaches on that staff. Not that they can come over, but I was just interested to look at this. I found three really interesting guys. We'll do that next. Your reaction, lots of phone calls coming in. We've got a couple lines open, 615-737-1045. What'd you say?
I got something else, too.
Okay, Slade's got something else, too. We'll be right back. 3HL 1045 The Zone.
Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. That's who you need to call if the time has come to replace your windows and your doors in your house. I know if you're like me, it's something that isn't at the top of your list that you really want to do and upgrade, but you might have to. And maybe you really learned about it when we got hit with that cold weather and it's seeping through your windows because they're not sealed properly. Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville can help you out. They have a showroom, too, if you want to stop by and just say hi and check out everything that they can do, and they have. It's in Franklin, 277 Mallory Station Road in Franklin. And you might be surprised to learn how affordable those replacement windows are from Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. You can schedule your free consultation and check out this special that they have going on at Pella, which is 50% off qualifying installs and no money down, no interest, no payments for 12 months. All you have to do, hop online, tell them that you're interested, and schedule that consultation. It's PellaNashville.com. Call my friends at Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville.
3HL 104.5 The Zone. Big day of SEC basketball coming up on Saturday. Slate Dog was in Charlotte yesterday. How are the Voodoo Donuts at the airport?
You know what, Yoram? I stayed away, even though my gate was
What?
My gate was in front of it leaving.
So proud
Wow.
of you.
Yeah, that's some personal growth right there.
Yeah.
That's some strength.
I kind of timed
Mental fortitude.
Yeah, I kind of timed it to when they would be calling my number, and I would be going on in. Number 4, come on up. And I didn't have time to stop, so, which was good.
Number 4.
American Airlines.
Oh.
Group 4, I mean.
Group 4.
Yeah.
Dang, you're all the way back on Group 4.
It's priority. Plus, I get extra roll. It's easy. Everybody's not like you, Babs, and has what is it with the Southwest? Like just A1?
Yeah.
She's A1 or A2.
Yeah.
You know, others, if, ands, or buts.
Priority.
Super priority.
I love flying Southwest. I do not like flying anything else. Is that bad?
I like Delta.
Oh.
I'm a Delta brat, though. I grew up. My
You
mom
grew
worked
up with
for
it.
Delta.
I don't
I tried to
want-
switch
40
over. You wouldn't let
years.
me switch over.
I don't like
To
them
Delta?
telling me where to sit.
You have to connect in Nashville.
Oh, yeah. See.
You don't?
No.
A lot
Listen,
of
man,
people
being able
don't
to
like picking your own seat.
Yeah.
No, I want to pick
Stressful.
my own seat because I'm looking around at who's on this plane.
What you mean they tell you where you got to sit?
Because you have an assigned seat.
Yeah, you're like at
With Delta?
B14 or whatever.
With
Like you just have to
everybody
sit there.
But Southwest.
And look,
basically.
I'm a big guy, and if there's a big guy sitting right next to me on Southwest, I can go to another row. Damn Delta.
I love me some Delta. It's just too dang expensive for
Yeah.
non-work flights.
Non-work flight.
What's the economy flight? Is it Spirit or?
Now, don't you dare mention them.
Oh.
Yeah.
That ain't no-
They charge you to breathe.
Listen, no, they ain't got ain't about charging you to breathe. I can make this paper airplane, and it'd be more sturdy than Spirit. I ain't playing around with Spirit.
I saw a
He
comedian.
flew it before. I've
That's
never
worse.
flown
I don't know anything about it. I'm good, bad, or indifferent.
Don't.
But I saw a comedian talking about. He said he was on the flight, and there was a medical emergency. Or is there a doctor on board? He goes, "Doctor on board?
You know,
they're on another airline."
Yeah, they won't be on this one. Like, yeah, no. Spirit, the seat don't recline or nothing. The seat goes like this.
How's the exit row on Spirit?
Wouldn't know. Don't even know if it's one. Like you might go through the. You might probably pull the ceiling and go through like the city bus up top. Go through the roof. Ain't going through the
I had
side.
an Easy Rider card when I was a kid,
Yeah.
man.
It's real.
Well, you hit that little ding, and then
I ain't
sometimes it
never
wouldn't
know.
ding, and you're like, "No, I need my stop. I don't want to have to walk all the way back."
Flight at 9, you taking off at 9:40 because no equipment is working. Like, nah, Spirit, nah. Okay. I'm off of y'all, Spirit.
What do they do? Like take up an offering down? Now look, you guys are on the plane. If you
Dude,
want
they
the thing
had to
fly,
take your
you better
card.
pay.
They had to take your ticket and punch it in manually. Okay, 1TFG634. Okay, go
DHB
ahead.
said, "Don't you dare disrespect Delta Mayor." I'm not disrespecting. I'm just telling you, don't tell me where I have to sit. Because if I end up in a middle row with another like two other big dudes, and then here's the thing about Delta sometimes.
If you book it early enough, you can pick
See,
your
that's
seat.
Babsy thing.
Right, but see, I could still pick an aisle seat and then end up with two big dudes in the same row. And then the confusing thing and the frustrating thing about Delta is then there will be like all these empty rows around you, and they're like, "Nah, you gotta sit in your seat, bro. Assign seats. You have to go talk to the in-school
balance.
suspension."
It's the balance.
The balance. Some coaches on the Ravens staff. I just happened to look. You ready? Willie Taggart is the running backs coach, former
Oh,
Western
just got
Kentucky
that. Is he
quarterback.
really?
He just
Yeah.
got that, didn't he? Yeah.
Willie Taggart, running backs coach. Chuck Smith, outside linebackers coach.
The Chuck Smith?
Yeah.
Okay. What was he at first? Was he with the Falcons or something?
He was doing his own thing. Remember, like he was
That's
Dr.
right. He
Dr.
was- yeah,
Pass
sure
Rush or
was.
whatever.
In Atlanta. That's
Yeah.
what it was. Okay. I'm like, darn, I remember him doing something. Everybody was going to see Chuck Smith. And
All right.
coming back and having phenomenal years, I think.
That's the nicest dude, man. I
Outside linebackers.
when I was at Tennessee, like I was friends with Mose Phillips because we both went to Hillsborough, and so we were hanging out, and Chuck Smith rolled up in his Mercedes. That was the nicest car. At that point, I'd ever seen him in my life. But he could have been a nicer dude, man.
I think he had Harold coming off before the year Harold got paid.
I think he
If I'm
did.
mistaken.
I think he did. He's had tons
Yeah,
of dudes.
yeah, dude.
Quarterbacks coach for the Ravens, T. Martin.
Yeah, I saw that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, yep.
I knew he had jumped to the NFL.
Uh-huh. He was
It says 3 years.
Yeah, he was in Lamar era quite a bit. Like Lamar would come
I
off
didn't
and talk
realize
to
it was
him.
that many. Hey, it's all T. Martin's doing. That's how he progressed this year, right?
I mean, it makes sense.
He made
Got him
Lamar
MVP.
into an MVP
Got an
quarterback.
MVP.
Should be an offensive coordinator somewhere.
Maybe
I mean, he
head
will
coach
be at some
somewhere.
point, right? If you're a quarterback's coach for Lamar, you're going to be an OC somewhere.
Yep.
615-737-1045. Tristan in Nashville. Tristan, what up?
Yes, I was wondering if the Titans have fired their strength and conditioning coach since he was part of Mike Vrabel's, and since we got injured for 2 years or 3 years, basically, and their nutrition coach or nutrition, because our nutrition was awful since we didn't since our injuries kept on piling up.
Yep, great questions, Tristan. I haven't heard one way or the other, but I mean, typically when new regime starts, everybody's gone.
Yep.
Scouting department can sometimes stick around because this scouting department has been there for the most part.
They're from J-Rob's era.
Yes.
Some of them, yeah.
I think the new dietitian over at the facility should be Ron Slay.
We go eat donuts on Friday.
I'm in the building.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm gonna disagree on that one.
Can you imagine Ron Slay with the big apron coming up, man?
That'd be a good time.
Well, you'd have a great time.
Oh, man, all kind of little Reese's peanut butter smoothies.
Put the smoker out there on the practice field so the players could smell it while they're
come by, make a good play, peanut butter M&Ms, toss to you. Like, caramellos.
Are they seals?
Hey, listen
It's like it's
now.
a dolphin at the zoo.
Hey, listen, you got to reward the dogs for going to work, man.
In terms of food preparation and all those things, like they've got legendary people over there that will still be there. That has nothing to do with anything. 615-737-1045 at the RHL 1045. It would be funny though and good if they hired Ron Slay though.
We got a Super Bowl party invite, y'all.
You said you had something to say this segment.
Oh yeah, I wrote it down this time so I couldn't forget. We were talking about who hired who and all of that, and remember we were side-eyeing Vrabel when he continued to hire guys that he had relationships with in former staffs or friends or guys like that. When you talk about Baldwin, when you talk about what's that guy that went up to
Howtelling, offensive
New
line
York
coach.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like
that.
So many different guys, and in this case, if Callahan doesn't have any connection to him, there you go. You got a whole different voice coming in.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
So, Jason Hoteling, hired by the Bears. You just mentioned this, so I figured I'd fill in the dots as assistant offensive line coach.
Is this one of the three that was here?
Mm-hmm.
He was the guy.
Was the offensive line coach.
So he's going from the guy to an assistant.
I got yelled at on Twitter because I said Titans fans react, and someone said, "Be better."
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
that's what we do. We talk about reaction.
Yeah, we want your reaction to everything.
I'm sorry, but he was a popular topic of conversation all year long.
And listen, he got demoted.
Yep.
He did. He's now an assistant. And he might turn out to be a phenomenal coach.
Yep.
But he was not here.
Good. He can look back and say, man, they ain't give me nothing to work with.
True.
So then he can throw them under the bus.
You can't really make a good pizza with like a bunch of pig's feet.
No, that ain't going to work.
Yeah, but you would like to see some progress of like pig's feet turning into pepperoni, right?
Oh, Lord,
this is like
mercy.
the NFL equivalent of hiring a hitman. If you just don't like Justin Fields, just say you don't like him.
I mean, you just set a bomb off. Is that how you get pig's feet into pepperoni?
That's right.
Here goes PETA again, coming after us. We're going to get a letter. 615-737-1045.
Twitch, please. Big Saturday night in Smashville coming up. Yes, because the Preds will return from the All-Star break and then start a 3-game homestand. And first up is Saturday. It is the day before the big game, February 10th. They take on the Arizona Coyotes at 7 p.m. at Bridgestone Arena. Did you see Callahan, by the way? At the Preds game, yes. Hanging with Clark Lee, watching a little hockey in his Preds sweater. I love it. Well, you can celebrate Asian and Pacific Islander Heritage Night with a special ticket package. It includes a ticket and a very cool shirt designed by a local artist. Get tickets for that Saturday game, February 10th at NashvillePredators.com/tickets.
Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Joe Hunk. Brian Callahan is making some moves as he begins to hire coaches for his coaching staff. Titans have hired Ravens defensive back coach Denard Wilson as their new DC. While he was with the Eagles, he had the number one pass defense in the NFL, which, went to that whole Super Bowl thing. And then this past season with the Ravens, he had the number 3 overall passing defense. The Titans have also hired Tyke Tolbert, wide receiver coach from the Chicago Bears. He has coached guys like Antoine Bolden. Reason I say that name is because he was hired by Coach Mack back in 2003. That was his first NFL coaching job. And the Commanders have announced that they are hiring defensive coordinator Dan Quinn as their brand new head coach. Can't blow a 28-3 lead if you can't make it to the Super Bowl. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Vols, the flagship station for your Tennessee Titans, as well as home to 3HL. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Three HL 104.5 The Zone. Brent Doherty with you on a beautiful day in the Music City. Hope you're having a great Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday already.
Friday.
Looking forward to it.
Time to get fried and then trash talk some people.
You gonna trash talk some people?
Don't we play Kentucky?
Oh, who just lost.
That's right. Yep.
And so did Tennessee.
That's right.
Just lost.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be fun.
Do we need to? I don't think Dawn has ever experienced. Who's Dawn? Babsy has ever experienced in the air tonight. Do we need to bring that back out? It takes a lot of energy for us to do that.
We're just draining wiped. After. I mean, it is the end of the show and the party is over after that. Like we can all go home, go to bed, good night.
So it turns into this big trash talk, sports revival, preaching moment, passionate, tons of energy thing in the air tonight leading up to the big drum drop.
And it's real. Babsy, I think she did experience one time.
I don't think so.
You ain't never experienced it? It was out because it was during football season.
Usually during college football season.
Yep.
But it says in Kentucky. So while we're there right now, real quick, and then we'll get to the formatics of what we normally do, which is basically this. All over the place. How do you think that game is impacted now that both teams lost the midweek game going into that one?
So I had somebody ask me that on Twitter, and I said, to me, it's exactly the same. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kentucky wanted to beat Tennessee very bad regardless. You know what I'm saying? And Tennessee, after what happened last year, wants to beat Kentucky very bad regardless. So I think you're going to get the best out of both. I do think it helps both by, I think, going into it both on their game because both of them were missing something. You were missing production from the others with Tennessee as far as the game being played, and then with Kentucky, you were missing DJ Wagner and Justin Edwards. So I think the attention to detail will be in effect in film sessions. I think Cal will have their attention, and I think Barnes will have Tennessee.
Tennessee looked – Don made this comment, and I made the comment during the game to somebody. Tennessee looked tired on Tuesday.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because they were off the week before midweek, right?
But how hard is Rick Barnes running them?
Oh, hell yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's known.
Practice?
He's known for that. So does he look at that game game film, and then say, "Man, maybe I need to dial it back a little bit"?
Now that I don't know. Yeah. I do believe the coaches.
I don't know because he's always been like that, right?
Always been like that.
But I will say, man, like the players like to pull back and be like, "Hey, man, come on, coach." Then you start having them say, "Hey, man, my ankle hurt," and things like that. And you start being in the training room with Chad instead of being out there on the floor. So I would hope that at some point you gotta even
Chad's
it out,
great,
man.
but you don't want to see him.
Be in there hanging with him. Yeah,
how many guys has Chad worked with, do you think? Like, if you could put a total number of players, like you just kept track, Chad Newman has been at Tennessee forever.
Good gosh. I ain't got a clue.
I mean, he was your guy.
He was there before me. He was O'Neal.
Allen Houston's guy, maybe.
Yeah, strong possibility.
Yeah, because I was there. He's older than me, isn't he?
Well, he has to
probably
be, right?
90. He might have been 96.
Yeah, so I think we're about the same age. I was there when Allen Houston was there, so I bet he was.
Oh.
Well, he's seen a lot.
Whole lot.
I don't know that he gets to like Dyron Nix and
Nah, he don't go that far.
Mark Griffin, Tony White, and all those guys.
He know him, though.
Oh, yeah.
Very well. So
615-737-1045. Titans with a couple of hires. Don Davenport is here. What up, Babsy?
What up? That's right.
Denard Wilson, the defensive coordinator now, Ravens defensive backs coach, and Tyke Tolbert, wide receivers coach. Little nugget. We had Coach Mack on at the beginning of the show. He hired Tyke Tolbert when he was at Arizona. What are you doing?
Man, sliding back in like Kramer.
Slay Dog is sliding in.
I'm in the building.
Hey, I'm in the building. Best believe I'm in the building. Better be ready. I'm in the building. Car ain't got no rules. Time for the show.
I don't know how you do it, man, with all this midweek travel, never miss anything.
Candy.
Sugar.
Piece of candy.
Candy.
Speaking of Vandy, they
Oh, my gosh.
got hammered by almost 30 at Auburn. We all saw it coming.
Mm-hmm.
You know what, though?
It wasn't 50.
It wasn't.
They are 5-15 and 0-7.
Auburn didn't even, like, make their guys go full throttle. You know what I'm saying? Like, he
they were just out there running at hyper,
He
like back in the day.
Yeah, he didn't make it, go all the way. Yeah, he ain't, go get them.
Are you saying they took it easy?
I ain't saying they took it easy. I'm just saying they didn't punish them.
They didn't finish it?
So they weren't like Davenport going home. They were more like me or you.
Yeah,
like
there
cruising
you go.
home.
Yep. They was just getting there. They were going to get there. Davenport would have beat them by 70.
Don't like it, stop it.
Well, she's hard
rocking, though.
especially with that. She's got that bun going. Today's a bun day for Don Davenport.
You know what they got good going, though, Vanderbilt?
What?
Vanderbilt.
Who is he?
Bert from here in Vandy.
Is he the cook that we have for the new Pig's Feet pizza place?
Vanderbilt. Yeah, Cook Vanderbilt. Chef Vanderbilt. Hey, they play Missouri.
Yeah. Some guy give. Missouri's 0-8. They're 0-15 combined.
Here we go. Let's get it on.
And it's in Nashville.
Yes, that is great.
Oh, there you go.
Listen.
Somebody's got to win.
Somebody's got to win.
Do not lose that game. I mean, that game identifies the worst team.
It's going to be tough.
That's tough.
It's going to be tough.
0-8 and 0-7.
It's going to be tough.
615-737-1045. Trey in Nashville. Trey, what up?
What up?
What you got?
Hey, Trey.
Oh, Trey.
I like the energy.
Mm-hmm. Thank Babsy. You still in it there. You got to be more optimistic about these coaches. It's like you digging for analytics, and there's nothing there. And I bet you in 2 years you're going to be like, yep, go back to show 158, man. I told you so. I told you so. No, Babsy. Then stop. And y'all have a good day. And y'all take care, okay?
Thank you, Trey.
Thanks, Trey. I said Trey just spoke for me. That's what I really wanted to say to Babsy. But I was like, Babsy, she's Babsy being Babsy, you know? I mean.
What he said
Trey's
was,
funny.
like the headline for his call was Dawn sounds like Buck.
Oh,
that was a
Babsy don't like that.
I do not like that.
That laugh came from deep within.
Do not group us together.
Yeah, he said to me, Hunk, what's up with Dawn? Is she hanging out with Buck now? She's starting to sound like Buck.
Is that what Buck said?
That is exactly what he said.
Can we get that one-off show done at some point this summer where you and Buck do a show?
I don't know if I can.
We need it. We need it. The people need it. It gets them going.
I mean, you pick the right topics, and it could be like freaking fireworks.
Well, that was part of the idea that someone like it's a he said she said thing.
Yeah.
So it's like point counterpoint thing. Like the topics will be picked.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then will be presented, and we could do it during a 1 hour thing. You don't have to sit the whole show.
No, this is supposed to be a live event.
Yeah, we
It's like take it on the road.
Yeah, no, this is live. Yeah,
You're not talking about from 10 to 1.
No. This is pay your tickets because it's going to be explosive.
We can do it from the grand opening of Pig's Feet Pizza.
Mm.
No, we want people to come.
You want me to quit saying that, don't you?
I do. That sounds so gross. Yes, thank you, Babs.
You're welcome.
I mean, if you put enough cheese on a pizza, you can put anything on
No, you can't, y'all. No, you can't. No, you cannot.
it. Pig's feet pizza.
No, you can't. That don't mean you put
Coming to you live.
There is somebody sitting out here right now that's going, I've already done that, guys. That shit, I mean, you don't have to.
Yeah,
I
you
feel
can't
like
say-
it already exists.
You think so?
Yeah.
You can't sell pig's feet pizza, can you?
They
No,
probably
but-
have, and it probably ain't worked, and they probably sitting back like, yeah, that ain't gonna work. He's crazy. I tried it.
Babs v. Buck. Oh, look at big savagery in the house.
Hey.
Why do you go walk in that room and not come in this room? Because he knows we'll turn the mic on is what'll happen.
BVB.
Because he was
Make
being
me sit down.
respectful of the on-air light.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah, I never do. I just
We
come
don't.
on in.
No.
I come on in here and walk around and
Nah,
everything.
none of that.
I'll
Anyway,
come in
yeah,
during.
let's make the Buck v. Dawn in the summer happen.
No, dude.
Yeah.
Alliteration, and your name goes first. Babs v. Buck.
Oh,
Babs beat up.
Babs destroys Buck.
Yeah, we got to be careful with it. Yeah, I like
Babs
that.
battles Buck.
Oh, there you go.
No, I like destroy.
BBB.
I like destroy.
Me
Destroy him, Babsy. Do you know? And then guess what? You can actually pay your ticket to sit on which side of the arena.
Like a
that
wedding?
who you pay-
Yes.
Like we're
You know
just
where I'm
like
going.
separating
Yes.
Yeah, like a wedding. Like your groom
Yeah,
side or
yeah.
like
Which
right
side are you
I
on?
don't know.
it. What would my side look like? What was his
Yeah.
side look like? He's
Oh,
got all
boy.
like the hipsters.
Listen, no. Even Panzika would be on your side.
And
Oh,
guess
no
what,
doubt.
though?
Tons and tons
Guess
of vape
what?
pens.
In the middle of it, you get the opportunity to savage. In the middle of it, you get the opportunity to sway the crowd, and you get a bonus point.
So
if
people
you-
can move.
You can switch. All right, y'all. After the first two conversations, now you choose which side you want to be on. Boom. Y'all can switch now. And what if everybody scurries over to Bab's side, and they only got standing room only?
So it's like
Oh,
a tug
yeah.
of war of
Like
words.
after
Ain't nobody, might be like
after
one or
he
two people over there.
spews some bad take,
They
then
like, hell
my
no,
side's
we don't
full.
want to be on this side.
I like
They
it.
coming straight to Babs' side, man.
I like it.
Dree!
Hey, what side would you be on, Ramon? Which side would you be sitting on?
Babs versus Buck.
No question. I ain't even think about it.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Babs, no thought needed.
What's the line?
Yeah, what's the line? Yeah, we're gonna have a line and everything.
So
man.
if there are 8 topics, it's Babs by 6.
I'm gonna go 4.5. Easy.
So
Four
you
and a
think
half.
it's pretty close to 50-50.
No, you know people
But you're
don't feel
making-
bad. The
you're
people
ma-
gonna get the vote. They
You're
get the
making
vote.
people choose.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I guess.
Buck's side would be full of cats.
They can change the just cats over
Good
there.
call, THV.
They can change the line. You can add and say, I think Buck. I take the plus 4.5.
What is it with Buck and cats? I just I don't understand
I
that.
mean,
cat
he's a
man.
cat guy.
Cat man. It's like a superhero.
Listen, I don't mind cats. They would die at
Dogs.
my house.
Yeah, they don't stand a chance.
Yeah.
Babs got dogs that run through glass.
Oh my gosh. God, I thought it was going to happen today. It was bad,
When her dogs
man.
get out, they do kill things. They do.
That's
Yes.
gonna attack you.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I do have to protect.
That was your husband's fault. Just open the door to the deck, and I'm sitting there, and here comes with Patton.
Patton.
Patton,
He's my rescue.
General Patton. That can't be the tagline.
Yeah, but
every
he's
time you do something
anti-rescue
crazy,
because
Babs.
he's got like a kill list.
Yeah.
Patton.
Somebody mistreated him when he was a puppy, and he just wants to make everybody pay,
All right,
except for the inner circle.
Greg Cosell is coming up next, and let's do this. Malika, we will take your call before we go to Greg Cosell. How about that? So if you can hold during the break, Malika, we will take your call, and then we'll go to Greg Cosell. And here's what Greg Cosell wants to talk about. The top of the board quarterbacks and Marvin Harrison Jr. and Odunze from Washington, the 2 receivers. That's what we're going to hit on today.
I love it.
All
And
right,
we can,
3HL.
maybe we can ask him about the Ravens secondary, too.
There you go. 3HL 1045 The Zone.
What's happening with you, good folks? I'm coming to you live and direct, telling you about Kellum Stem Cell Institute.com and how you and why you should go get your consultation today. First of all, the number is 615-850-4415. You having congestive heart failure, lung issues, Autism to arthritis, man, they get involved and they make everything better. Why am I telling you this? Because I have done it myself. The holistic stem cell therapy, I've had the work done. That's right. The therapy has been done. I used my body, my cells, and it was my solution. That's exactly what I did. Yes, they also store your cells for future and continued use. These cells are your body cells. They're used for healing, people, harvested and redeployed based on your needs. We know stem cells attack inflammation. There's no question about it in the body, and we know that all autoimmune disorders derive from inflammation. Real simple to see. The number is 615-850-4415. Visit KellumStemCellInstitute.com. Have your own sit down with Dr. Kellum and get all your answers answered. Yeah, your questions answered.
3HL 104.5 The Zone. Going to get with Greg Cosell from NFL Films and NFL Matchup in just a second. Promised Malika that we would come to her, so we will do that. Malika, what's up? How are you?
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Here's my opinion. The Titans, they get an A++. Skip the receivers. You can always get one later. Get an offensive lineman first, and let's start winning games. Tighten up. You guys do an awesome job as usual.
Thank you, Malika. Appreciate it. Yep, the Titans hiring Denard Wilson, Ravens defensive backs coach, as their defensive coordinator, and Tyke Tolbert, wide receivers coach. And the note there is that Coach Mack hired Tyke Tolbert when he was at Arizona for his first wide receiver coaching gig. Greg Cosell joins us now from NFL Films and NFL Matchup with Sal Powell and Darius Butler. Greg, what's up? How are you?
Bren, what's happening?
Just getting this staff figured out. Do you know what do you know about Denard Wilson? Let's start there. Ravens defensive backs coach. Defense pretty good.
I think it's a great hire. I actually sat in on a meeting of his when he was a coach with the Jets. I was at their training camp, and I was able to sit in on a meeting, and it was phenomenal. And he was here in Philly, and a lot of people thought that he should have been named the DC here in Philly, and obviously he did not. So he left to be the defensive backs coach in Baltimore, and obviously did a phenomenal job. So as soon as I saw that, I thought, well, man, that's a really good hire.
Good. I appreciate that perspective. Yeah. What do you know about Tyke Tolbert, the wide receivers coach? Do you know anything about him?
Well, I met him 100 years ago at the Combine. I don't know if you remember me. It may have been about the same time that Coach Mack hired him, which was 2003, I guess. But, I don't, other than that, I don't know a ton about him other than he's been in the league with several teams as a wide receivers coach. That's been what he has been in the NFL. So It's not as if you're hiring a guy to do a new position. So, other than that, I couldn't tell you much about him.
So you get the benefit of experience there and first-time play caller now on both sides. So we'll see how that all works out. As we head toward the NFL draft season, obviously the Senior Bowl this week, Coach Mack and Ramon Foster and Mike Keith and Rhett Bryan just all got back today, and they interviewed more than 30 players down there and had a great time. So it's always good to lean on them, but always good to lean on you as we get closer to the draft, as you start watching tape. And you started with quarterbacks, correct?
Yeah, you must think, Brent, I'm a machine, that I don't sleep ever. The NFL season just kind of ended, so, it's not like I've done, 50 guys already.
Well, how early do you and I text on Thursdays?
Right.
So let's start.
I've done, maybe 5 quarterbacks. I've maybe 4 receivers at this point. It's a process. I'm one of those guys. Maybe unlike others, I don't know what other people do, but I don't watch, 20 plays or one game of these guys. I watch with quarterbacks. I usually watch 7 or 8 games. So, and with receivers, I watch at least all of their targets. So if a guy catches, 90 balls, he might have 150 targets. I watch every single one.
For this season?
Yeah.
Wow.
Ooh, Cosell. No wonder it takes you
a while. You just said
Yeah.
you're not a robot and you do sleep.
Right.
Then name robotic things.
We're going to have to say, no, you clearly don't
Yeah,
sleep,
so
Cosell.
I just want to let you and the audience know that by in 2 weeks, it's not like I'm going to have 100 guys done, so
Right.
it's one step at a time, one play at a time,
All right, so let's start with quarterbacks. I think it's going to be fascinating to watch, and I want to start with Caleb Williams.
What about him? You want me to tell you what I think?
Yeah, Cosell.
Oh, okay. I would say that.
Hey, don't give her crap. She's got her hair in a bun today. So
That's right. I'm on fire
okay.
today, Cosell.
Are you guys going to be in Vegas next week?
Yes.
Yes.
Wednesday
Aren't
through
we going to
Friday.
see you? Are you going to be there?
I get there Wednesday. Yeah.
Perfect. See, we can do
Yeah.
our segment in person, right?
Well, we can, just like we did a year ago.
Yep.
I love it.
So, I think you could make the case that Williams is one of the best quarterback prospects we've seen in recent years. He's got truly an outstanding combination of physical and athletic and throwing traits. I would say at this point in time, he's more of a playmaker than a refined pocket quarterback. I think his greatest strength, and I think this is why many start to compare him to Patrick Mahomes. And I think, that's always a little tough for me just because Mahomes is obviously a great pro and Williams has never played an NFL game. So it's stylistic more than anything else. But I think his greatest strength coming into the NFL will be that same kind of spatial awareness that Mahomes has, sort of to calmly and effectively navigate chaos. That's one thing that Caleb Williams does exceptionally well, that he can do that and still function intelligently and athletically at game speed. That's kind of what he is. I think there are times he's frustrating because there's a reckless feel to his game with a lot of movement and unrefined mechanics. But I think a lot of people, including myself, said the same thing about Mahomes when he came out. And obviously we've seen, what he is, maybe on his way to being the best ever. We'll see. But, so I think that Williams stylistically is similar. So that's kind of what he is. He's got high level traits, and there's no question he brings a dynamic and spectacular playmaking dimension, and that's going to get people excited. I mean, as it should.
So he's your top quarterback off the board.
I mean, Dawn, I'm tough with that. My guess is that here's my guess. My guess is some people will love this guy to the point where they'll say he's the best quarterback they've seen, prospect I'm talking about, best quarterback prospect they've seen in 20 years. And there'll be other people that say they like Drake May more. That will be my guess.
Okay.
So, I think that's the way it'll be.
I want to skip ahead and go to J.J. McCarthy. What are your thoughts on him? Like, to me, for him to be a guy that's in this mix, is this speaking much about the class? Because last year after that quarterback class, it was like, oh, well, wait till next year, boy. This class is really going to be, and they continue to say that year after year. J.J. McCarthy, a top 5 guy, what are you seeing to make him in that conversation, Cosell?
Yeah, now McCarthy is a guy that I watched last summer and only have seen one game from this year. So, again, maybe he's improved in certain areas. I think that he's a guy that I always felt like his arm strength jumped back and forth. There were times I thought, man, he can really drive the ball and make tough throws. And we saw that this year, games I saw on TV. And there are other times I thought that he really needed to be firm in his base in order to really drive the football. And that if he wasn't firm like that his some intermediate and deeper throws would lose energy on the back end, that he didn't have an explosive arm. And again, you don't need that necessarily. We know that in the league. I think he's an aggressive thrower, which I like that. I think he's willing to make difficult throws. I think because of the nature of that offense, he has a sense of NFL progressions, because obviously it was a Jim Harbaugh NFL offense. I think that he shows pocket movement. I think that there's traits there to work with. I need to see him much more this year, watch more tape. I've only seen a game or two from this year. And I haven't seen the later games, the more important ones yet. Because what I do, Slay, is I watch in order of the season, because I like to see if there's, improvement or changes. I don't just pick out, oh, here's a great game in the playoffs, because I like to see how the season goes.
Well, I can't wait. You talking about arm power. I can't wait till you get an opportunity to break down Joe Milton and see.
I did Joe Milton.
Okay.
I did Joe Milton. I knew
here we go. You knew he was going to ask.
I knew who I was talking to here, so I did Joe Milton.
So did you see developing traits throughout the year, or was it just all arm power every time, every day that just popped off? Or did you see him, take some strides as far as,
like
better?
He's going to be
improved.
He's going to be Slay. He's going to be a polarizing guy. You have to remember a couple of things. Number one, Tennessee runs one of the purest versions of the air raid passing game, with its emphasis on no huddle, fast tempo, the really widespread formations, pure progression reads. Quarterbacks in that system are not really taught to understand the subtleties and nuances of defense and coverage. A lot of the throws are predetermined. So all those things mitigate against quick transition to the league. Okay. Now that has nothing to do with his physical traits, but I'm just saying that those things mitigate against being able to step right into the NFL and play. So the question is with Milton, and there'll be questions about this. And again, I don't know the answer because I don't know Joe Milton. And and again, I'm not going to be sitting with him with an iPad or at a blackboard, but there'll be questions and discussions whether he has or can develop the needed elimination and isolation traits to mandate it to work effectively between the numbers and the hashes. You don't see, those throws with Tennessee. And when you do, there's just a ton of open space because the field's so wide. Can he throw with anticipation and timing? That needs to be answered by coaches. Can he do that? We don't know that for sure. He not only will he have to be introduced and learn NFL passing concepts and progressions, but he's also going to see defensive fronts and coverage structures that will be brand new to him. So yes, can he throw a ball? Absolutely. We know that. You don't need, anybody can see that. He certainly has the physical strength to stand in the pocket and make throws as he's getting hit. He's got an incredibly strong frame. There's definite concerns about his ball placement. There's ups and downs with him. That's why he'll be polarizing. I don't think anybody's going to draft him with the expectation that he's playing year one.
Yeah, and I think he's going to be exactly what you said, kind of a divisive guy, because I think some people are going to see him throw and see the arm strength and see all of those things and how big he is. Like, if you haven't seen him before and you go up to him, it's a different kind of deal. And I think people will fall in love with that part of it and think that, hey, I can develop him into this. But to your point, it'll take time.
As long as you understand, Brent, and I think teams will, that's not going to happen week 3 of his first year in the league.
Totally agree.
But it's funny you talk about standing next to people. I remember at the Combine when Josh Allen came out, and I got a chance to actually watch his workout the night before the quarterbacks worked out. I got invited to the second floor of the Combine where he was throwing. So I was, standing right next to him. And, some of these guys, until you're standing next to them, you just don't realize how big they are.
Yeah.
Joe's huge.
I'm curious about this element.
Like that. Yeah, go ahead.
We talked to a player who said, because we noticed that Nico ran the offense at a quicker pace, more like Hendon Hooker the previous year in the bowl game. And I was curious about that. We asked the player about it, and he's like, Nico did a great job of understanding the offense and getting in and out of the play quickly. And I wonder if that's kind of an indictment on Joe, because we really didn't see that fast-paced style during the season. I mean, they worked quickly, but not like Hendon
not Josh Heupel quickly.
And not like Nico did it in the bowl game.
Yeah, and I didn't watch the bowl game, obviously, because, I don't need to watch him yet. He's only going to be a true sophomore, I believe. So I was just watching Joe Milton, so I didn't watch the bowl game. But one of the major premises, obviously, of that offense is no huddle, high tempo. So that's the way they want to play. I'm sure you're right because you spoke to a player, but Milton has, other polarizing questions about him well beyond just the ability to run Tennessee's offense fast, because he's not going to be running Tennessee's offense in the NFL anyway.
No, so I just wondered if it was kind of a bigger picture thing, like in terms of grasping what is being told to him. You know what I mean?
And then what teams do, which I don't do and don't have the opportunity, is that's when teams interview him, sit down with him, with the iPad at the blackboard, have him explain all that. I mean, that's what teams do with quarterbacks, and they try to get a sense. But, sometimes guys can be phenomenal in the classroom, but it just doesn't translate on the field. You never know. It's always that's why you have to watch guys play. And that's why I'm always fascinated by the fun of Senior Bowl week when, because of Twitter now, you see, oh, so-and-so had a great rep. He just moved from the 5th round to the 3rd round. Really? That's how you're going to judge a guy? I mean, because he had a great rep at the Senior Bowl? I mean, you got to watch guys play football over, meaningful amounts of time, which is why I watch as many games and as many reps as I do, because I think it's important to do that. I wouldn't feel like you asked me about J.J. McCarthy, and I immediately said, hey, I need to see more, because I don't feel comfortable making, a definitive evaluation of a player unless, I feel that I've seen enough.
Yeah. So, Interesting. You mentioned earlier Drake May, which I loved watching him play. I got to work, I think two games his freshman year. So Phil Longo was his OC then, which is a little bit different of an offensive scheme than Chip Lindsey, right? Who came in after that. So I'm sure you've watched both of those years because of that. What's your assessment of Drake May and his ability to to run both those offenses?
Yeah, I like May. He's clearly a high-level prospect. He's got the profile that you look for: size, arm strength, ball placement, athleticism, movement. He's got everything you want. I thought he kind of consistently played with a natural sense of poise and composure. One of the things I look at with quarterbacks, depending on system, and this system, as you said, was different, and I learned this from Ron Jaworski, who I worked with for years and years, is I look at their helmet, their head. Are they playing with a column helmet? Because if you see a quarterback drop back and his head is moving from side to side, that's a telltale sign that he's not seeing anything. Because you have to be able to play with a column helmet. You have to be able to understand just intuitively what you're looking at. And if you understand that, your head's not moving from side to side. So he was comfortable kind of working through progressions from the pocket. He trusted the route concepts. He trusted his protection. That's another thing you really try to find out when you watch quarterbacks. Are they trusting their protection? Are they staying in the pocket when there's really no pressure? A lot of guys end up perceiving pressure that's not really there, and you can't play like that in the NFL.
Tannehill this past year, right?
Well, it was understandable with the Titans' offensive line.
Yes.
But you want to. The great quarterbacks, and I don't use the word great loosely, and I'm not suggesting May hasn't played in the NFL either, so I'm not going to sit here and say he's great. But quarterbacks that are higher level quarterbacks, they allow the offense and everything about it to work for them. Okay, and that allows them to let the coverage dictate where they throw the ball. That's when guys look calm playing quarterback, because they're letting everything work for them. They're not hurried. They're not frenetic. I think May was kind of like that this year. He was as a freshman as well. And I think that his arm is not an issue at all. He's got the arm talent to make any throw necessary. And he's very, very athletic. And again, until I get to the combine and see his measurables, my guess is he's going to be 6'4", 220, 225. So he's a big dude.
No doubt. Yeah.
Greg Cosell with us on 3HL. Can we work through Michael Penix Jr. real quick?
Yeah, you can.
What do you see? That was my favorite player this season.
Yeah, I keep going back and forth on him.
Yeah,
I think he's ultimately a pocket quarterback. Okay, and I think a big question as you transition him will be his overall efficiency, and more specifically his vision and ball placement when there are bodies around him. He has a little bit of a general tendency to lose the broader picture of the defense and then throw into dangerous areas when there are bodies around him. So in some ways, I feel like there's similarities to Tua, that he needs the system to really be clean, and then he can really execute the system at a high level. And I think he's highly accountable to the system and to the concepts of the system. But I don't know if he's more than that. Now, he is a very good thrower. He's got a better arm than Tua, but he's a very good thrower. So I think there's a place for him. But the more I've watched him, to be honest with you, I'm just not sure I see him as a first-round type draft choice.
Interesting.
Well, and you add on top of that his injury history, and that's not going to help his cause.
4 of his 5 seasons ended with injury.
Shoulder, I mean, fortunately, he's been able to stay healthy the last 2 years, and there's no question he played really well. But the whole point of this is to transition guys to the league.
That's right.
To say things like, well, he's a great college quarterback. That's great, but now you have to decide what traits and attributes and characteristics do you feel would make him a great player at the next level.
Right. One of my favorite college players of all time, Tommy Frazier. Doesn't mean he's an NFL guy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And he wasn't.
No. Hey, thanks for working through some of these quarterbacks. We'll continue these discussions, and for people
next
that are
week we'll talk Super Bowl, obviously, because we'll be on Radio Row.
right.
So.
And then
we'll see you in person.
Yeah, for those that are new to the show, these visits with Greg Cosell from NFL Films, he is the best film evaluator in the game. And during draft season, we will go through the top guys positionally and guys
for you guys, not for next week, okay? Because I won't finish, and obviously I go next Wednesday, but I'm going to start doing some offensive tackles just so. I know that the audience is going to want to know about offensive tackles.
Right.
So am I.
Yeah. So we'll do a Super Bowl deep dive next week, and then we'll get back at it with draft prospects.
Working in that direction.
NFL matchup on the ESPN properties with Darius Butler and Sal Powell and Greg Cosell and NFL Films. Greg Cosell there for 44 plus years. Thank you, Greg. Great stuff, man. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Cosell.
All right, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks.
All right. When we come back.
I was just looking at a picture from post-game interview with Drake May. Definitely at least 6'4".
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a guy that a lot of teams fall in love with.
I think so.
Big Jeff with a tweet today. I'll read it for you next. 3HL 1045 The Zone.
What's happening, good people? Ron Slay and Babsy here to tell you about Cove Generators and just exactly how it can help you. And when you're sitting at home and, you start to hear the wind howling and trees get to shaking and you're like, oh, boy, not again. And power goes out. You're scrambling. You don't need to scramble because less than, I believe they said 1.2 seconds, maybe 2. The power, if it goes out, cuts right back on when it comes to Cove Generators. Your Generac home standby generator will click back on that's attached to your house and get you back popping. Plus, when you go off the grid, your home is still protected by Cove Generators, Babsy.
Yeah, that's right. So, you're working from home. You don't have to worry about anything because Cove Generators can help you out. And here's the deal. Cove Generators is your premier Generac home standby generator dealer. They offer service and repair on all brands of residential and industrial generators, though. So make sure you are prepared and give them a call. 931-559-3311. Cove Generators. Never lose power again. Visit them online at covegenerators.com.
Stay connected through it all.
What do you think Shaggy's up to these days?
I don't know, but it's a Bob Marley movie coming out February 14th.
All
and
in.
Hey, man, it looks good. I hope this is not one of those movies that
the trailer looks better than the movie.
Dog, I hope that. Oh.
No, dude, if they did a good job with the film, I mean, that guy's story is incredible.
Oh, my gosh. This is going I can't wait. I can't wait.
Shaggy to Bob Marley.
Yeah.
Now, you know I'm going to look up Shaggy. Usually when I'd say, I wonder what this guy's up to, he's no longer with us.
He's alive.
with us.
He's alive.
All right.
He's somewhere doing shows, probably.
Way to go, Shaggy.
Way to make it. Made it through the York.
Orville Richard Burrell.
What?
Better known as Shaggy. Orville.
Like Redenbacher?
I mean, I was going to go with the pilots, but yeah.
What pilots?
Orville's a tough name for a kid. I don't even know what you're
that's
talking.
probably not a name.
Which
anymore.
one? You got to tell me.
What, the ones that literally started aviation.
No, that was their first name, Orville?
One of them was named Orville?
One was named Orville, yeah. Orville Wright.
One, Darnell?
I don't know.
Shaggy.
Orville
and Darnell.
Orville Wright was the one that started like flight.
So the other one just
he was there.
He was just hanging out.
Yeah.
He
just wants to hang out with
He's
brothers.
like, you know when they write a country song and then they're like, man, this is gonna be a hit, and then they look over and there's a guy drinking a beer sitting in the same room. He gets a credit.
Yep.
Oh, who is the dude? Don't nobody know him. Nobody knows him. Jerry. Orville and Jerry.
I like Darnell.
You like Darnell? I like Darnell.
Well, Darnell Wright.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Oh, there we go.
He's on the all-rookie
The
team.
Wright brothers. That's all you need.
The other brother's name is Wilbur.
Oh, Wilbur.
I see.
Orville and Wilbur.
I promise
What's
you.
wrong with their parents?
He drug Wilbur along. Wilbur he ain't want nothing to do with this.
How you gonna name people Orville and Wilbur?
Because Wilbur wasn't gonna
Well,
never
that was
be
back
nothing.
in 1900.
What were their parents' names? This is what I want to know.
Oh, that I couldn't tell you.
I bet. I guess it.
I'm looking. Hold on.
Verma.
Okay, so the father's
Wilma?
name
Wilma.
was
That's what I was thinking.
father's name was Milton.
Milt.
Oh, I mean,
Milt.
You close.
Yeah, Milt's cool. What up, Milt? What up, Milt?
And the mom's name was Susan Catherine.
what?
No, hell no.
That doesn't fit.
No,
She was-
Sue's doesn't fit.
No, she too calm and cool. For
She
that-
was born in 1831 and died in 1889.
So Milt and Katie.
Hey.
That's what we're working with.
Milt.
But they named their kid Milton and Catherine named their kids Wilbur
And Orville.
and Orville.
Yeah, that was yeah.
By the way, Shaggy, born in Kingston in 1968, at the age of 18, he moved to New York City with his mama.
Hey,
Enlisted in the Marine Corps in 1988.
hits. Man got hits.
So the parents apparently wanted to give them distinctive names. So Wilbur was named after Wilbur Fisk.
Which is who?
He is a prominent American Methodist minister and educator.
Okay.
He was the first president of Wesleyan University. And Orville was named after Orville Dewey,
Wesleyan.
another minister.
Wow.
There you
All
go.
right. Ministers.
And they
Sorry.
started.
The more you know, 3HL listeners.
Yeah,
I'm sure you had this on your bingo card today.
By
By the way,
yeah.
go ahead. You're still going to stay on it, Kel.
Yeah, Shaggy married his longtime
try to move on.
partner, Rebecca Packer, in 2014. They have 3 daughters. Burrell has 2 sons from a previous relationship. His son, Richard O'Neill Burrell, is an American rapper known as Rob Banks.
Oh.
I know
So
Rob
this
Bass.
is how you know
Rob Bass.
you're a toddler mom, because I heard that song and I immediately thought of the movie Barnyard, where the really fat mouse with his big old gold chain.
Why are you going to call the
is
mouse fat?
singing that song.
Listen, man, that mouse is trying to lay off the voodoo
Yeah.
donuts and everything.
I'm cheese-tastic, or whatever his
Cheese-tastic.
whatever he sings. Yeah, there you go.
Big Jeffrey Simmons, Titans offensive tackle, tweeted, and he is correct about this. Here was his tweet today. These potholes in Nashville equal, all caps, disrespectful.
Oh, Big Jeff driving new whips with skinny tires now.
Uh-oh.
Potholes matter,
I was going
baby.
to say he's got that like
Big truck, yeah.
Love Ya
Yep.
Blue massive truck that won't even feel
Yeah.
those potholes.
Well, and what sucks is, like, if you're on the interstate, it's not like you can get in the next lane to avoid it.
no,
if
because
there's somebody
somebody's
there.
going too slow in the passing lane.
And then at
usually.
night, you can't even see them.
You hitting them.
Yeah.
And I have like skinny tires.
I know anybody who was on the way to Clarksville yesterday dealt with road shutdowns as they try to fix those potholes. Traffic was a nightmare.
So what do they need to do? Let's just take a week off.
Yeah,
everybody just take a week off, stay at home.
And let them fix potholes
let them fix the roads.
Tennessee.
No.
Just take a week off.
We'll throw out a stimulus
This is
check
why
for
I
them.
need to get elected. I have all the great ideas.
You got to make them give you a stimulus check, though. We're going to stay home for a week.
Okay,
Say,
here
it's
we
gonna
go.
cost us millions of
Here
dollars.
we go.
I mean, hey.
It is.
Pay me to do nothing, please.
That's right. Want me out the way?
Stimulus check
I'd
for
gladly-
pothole repairs.
I'd gladly get out the way.
Give you an
Add it
extra
to
week
the
of
state
vacation.
budget for snow.
Titans have 2 new coaches, including a defensive coordinator. We'll talk about it next. 3HL 1045 The Zone. Brentwood Jewelry, you need to know these guys. Just go pop in and see them. Brentwood Jewelry in the heart of Brentwood, 7012 Church Street, just off Franklin Road. And you can check them out in advance of Valentine's Day. They will help you with all of your Valentine's Day needs. You got a list. They will help you out. Brandon, Salem, the entire crew at Brentwood Jewelry, ready to help you. You can check them out online. The inventory is there. BrentwoodJewelry.com. As we all know, popular time to propose this time of year. Brentwood Jewelry can give you the experience you want, like a surprise gift of that dream ring that she's always wanted. Or maybe you can go the custom and unique route. You can consult with one of their custom designers. Maybe you go a different direction. Choose from their selection of fine jewelry, watches, engagement rings, or bring that priceless heirloom in. Have them transform that into a special gift that your significant other can wear every day. Let them create a personalized piece that is as unique to the person that you are giving the gift to. Get it done. Brentwood Jewelry, 7012 Church Street in the heart of Brentwood, just off Franklin Road. They can help you with all of your Valentine's Day gifting needs. Exceptional style, exceptional deals every day for more than 50 years. Visit BrentwoodJewelry.com.
Good evening from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Joe Hunk. Titans have made two hires, the first being a brand new defensive coordinator, Denard Wilson. He is now the former defensive back coach of the Baltimore Ravens. That was the way he did this season. And the season prior, he was in the Super Bowl with the Eagles as their defensive back coach and put together the number one pass defense in the NFL. The Titans have also reportedly hired a brand new wide receiver coach in Tyke Tolbert, who was the wide receiver coach for the Chicago Bears last season and helped DJ Moore have career highs in catches, yards, and touchdowns. Tennessee Athletic Director Danny White has now put out a statement towards the NCAA alleging that they are moving the goalposts on this, and the reason why the investigation became public is because they are the ones that leaked it. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Vols, the flagship station for your Tennessee Titans, as well as home to 3HL. This is 104.5 The Zone.
$3HL 104.5 The Zone. Brent Doherty with you on a very funny Thursday here in 3HL.
Right. Oh, throat punch.
Oh, yeah. It is Throat Punch Thursday.
It is.
You
we
got
did
so
kind
excited
of throat
there.
punch Buck earlier.
Yes, yep. We should have.
Buck Rising, yeah.
Buck, next time we see you out in the parking lot, throat punch.
We saw him today
Mm-hmm.
Where'd you see Buck?
in the parking lot.
I know. I get here and y'all are both sitting in your car, so I had to do a tour of the parking lot. I told Babs after a minute, I was like, hey, I'm going to go over here and talk to Clay.
Well, usually I would just post up right there for a second.
You were putting on makeup, which you don't always do.
Felt like I needed to today.
She's here, made up,
What up,
hair in a bun, ready to roll.
That's Buck. That's Buck.
Thursday.
Twitch, please.
Do you get a headache when you put your hair in a bun?
Twitch, please.
Sometimes. I'm telling you, it's hard being a woman.
I literally those words just came out of my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about that the other day when you were going through your mammogram rant.
Yes.
Some things.
By the way, came back clear.
Hey!
Hey!
See, you can't do that and then not tell us.
Yeah.
We have to stumble on the fact that your mammogram came back clear.
And we had a machine outside. You didn't have to go through that.
Yeah, the copy machine.
Yep.
That would go over well.
Could you
I feel like that's an HR violation.
Yeah, I feel like there's a whole lot of violations that could be happening.
Slay just sends the copy over to the doctor. Like, hey man, we did this today.
He
How's
accidentally
it look?
hits send all instead of just send to the one person.
Yeah, just email the whole company.
Fax is over.
Atlanta's getting an email that they didn't know they was going to be getting today.
He is your mammogram specialist. He is Ron
Yeah,
Slay.
we don't-
I'm in the building. I'm in the building. Hey, I'm in the building. I'm in the building. I'm in the building. I'm in the building.
I'm a doctor.
So far, you've been
I'm in the
nutritionist
build.
for
I'm
the
in the
Titans,
build.
like assistant nutritionist.
Yeah, I can't be a head.
You're just out there with the. I love the image of the smoker on the side of the field during training camp.
I'll be telling them, this was for you. Well, we got the next sack. Ribeyes. I got you. Don't worry. Hey, you boy, they'll be getting after it. Telling you, I have it right down there, wrapped in that aluminum foil for them.
Play for meat.
That's right.
I think the smell would actually work well, in terms of guys getting through practice, because they know what's coming up.
It can only be on Fridays though, because it'll distract people.
It's why hotels use these smells. Like you go to the, I don't know, let's go bougie. You go to the Four Seasons. Every Four Seasons smells exactly the same.
You know the smells of hotels.
Mm-hmm. They all have their
scent.
their little mister things.
Do
They
they?
do.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They all smell the same.
I'm gonna start smelling them.
Now, I don't know about some of these around here.
There's one across the street. We got their own too.
That probably has its own smell. Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah.
The
Tolbert, by the way, just tweeted.
Oh, did he?
Thankful. #Titans.
Here we go. It's time to get to it.
Let's go.
Welcome to Nashville, Tyke.
Mm-hmm.
Double T.
It's a great name.
Tyke.
Tyke.
It sounds like a name for a kid.
Yeah, come on, little Tyke. You little Tyke, you.
The man's 55 years old, Slade.
I know that.
56.
Hey, I
56.
I ain't give him the name.
You think that's his real name? Tyke Tolbert?
Without question.
No, it's not.
I mean, Shaggy's name wasn't his real name.
What's the first name? Robert.
Oh, I think I looked it up earlier, honestly. I think it's something
Sean.
like.
I love it when you try to guess the names.
That's the name. I'm telling you what it is.
Sean?
Sean or Robert? Robert Tolbert.
Robert Tolbert's probably not going to work.
No, that's definitely it.
Yeah, it doesn't say.
It says Tyke Tolbert. Like, that's his name.
That's his real
Like
name.
that's his name.
No,
Yeah.
I'm telling y'all that.
Okay, maybe
know.
you're right.
But it's not Robert Tolbert?
Nah. We used it before.
Regardless,
There was a guy that played for the Eagles named
it's
Anthony.
a great name.
Yeah, it is. Named Anthony Tony.
It was.
It was Tony.
Yep.
He just needed one more Tony.
Tony has done it again.
Although
That's
none of their names were Tony.
That's weird.
You told me that.
I just found it out.
All right, Denard Wilson, the defensive coordinator. We learned a lot today from Coach Mack, who's been around both of these guys, which will shock absolutely no one. In fact, he hired Tyke Tolbert to his first assistant coaching position in the league as wide receivers coach of the Arizona Cardinals back in the day. Brian Callahan hires Ravens DBs coach Denard Wilson, coached in the NFL since 2012. With the Ravens from 2012 to 2016, Jets 2017 to 2020, Eagles 2021 to 2022, Ravens 2023. He was with Rand Carthon from 2012 to 2016. They were both there the exact same time. They got there the same time, left the same time. 2012 to 2016, Rand was the director of player personnel. Wilson was the defensive quality control coach 2012 to 2014. That's where you're breaking down tape. Defensive backs 2015 to 2016. So there is the connection there.
There you go. I like that. I like that a lot.
We have uh-oh.
Hey,
Here she goes. Here she goes.
I won't come out.
Look at the light. Look at the light.
It never works. I hate that.
I hate y'all.
Yeah, that ain't nothing.
Don't ever do that when somebody's trying to sneeze. Just let me sneeze.
Well, we were trying, but it's radio, so we got to do a play-by-play there.
Up, Babs.
Yeah.
You just went on with it.
Really wanted that sneeze.
I felt like you were going to let it rip.
I was trying.
You're
and then
supposed
you
to look
messed it
into the
up.
light, and you will sneeze.
No.
I tried that.
No, that
it didn't
doesn't
work
work.
that time.
Oh, yeah, we had that fight about that.
Yeah.
Some people say you look in the light to not sneeze.
That's what works.
No.
To not sneeze.
100% of the time I look in the light, I sneeze.
No,
100%.
you are not. Look up.
100%. No, I have to like need to sneeze first.
Every time the lights go on.
I'm allergic to light. Oh man.
All right, so Denard Wilson,
Yeah.
first time DC.
Yeah, so any
But
issue
has been in the league forever.
any issue from y'all with first time play callers on offense and defense now?
Zero.
And a
for me.
first time head coach?
All
Yes.
wrapped into two?
Yes,
Zero for
all
me.
wrapped in. Yeah.
Level of concern. 1 to 10, 10 being the greatest.
4, 5.
2. 1. 1.5.
Okay.
That's all.
1.67.
Like Eggy
Mayor?
Pop over there. Just come up with weird numbers from time to time, depending on what step you're on. I will go level of concern 10 being the greatest.
Yep.
3. I really don't care.
Okay. I'm the
So
only one
that's real.
concerned.
Listen,
Maybe not even 3.
Yeah,
No,
that's what I'm
listen,
saying. We don't
when
even have the
it's-
troops outside for this.
Okay, but when it's game time in the heat of the moment and you're the DC and the head coach and the play caller, all of that for the first time, like at some point, I'm pretty sure mistakes are going to be made.
So I agree. So with that scenario,
Yeah, but they
what
would
you're
be with
saying,
veteran play callers too.
Very true.
I know, but you learn from, you know what?
So
you can't manufacture experience, boys.
Oh,
That's
here we go.
very true.
She's just going to go pull
Yeah,
a Coach
this-
Mack thing that we can't
Yeah,
argue.
yeah.
We can't argue
There's
against Coach
no
Mack.
way we can do that.
Uh-uh.
But okay,
Why don't you go sneeze somewhere?
Well, I tried.
If that's a scenario,
Shucks.
what level are you at? 9 then?
No, I'm 5.
Ah, Babsy. We're not even
6.
putting the troops out.
5, 6. No, yeah. I mean, I'm not that concerned, but it will. I think it's something to watch.
I think
Now-
what he said about like the game plan is much more important. Like the everything comes together during the week. And so at the point of actually calling the plays, it's way more important what goes on prior to that.
Let me
I believe in
clarify
that.
that. I believe that, and I'm not as concerned on that side of the ball. Let me clarify my concern. My concern is that you have a head coach who is going to be calling plays on offense, who is going to be is offensive minded. That's what he's done, right? So My concern is the fact that you have a first-time defensive coordinator when you have the offensive system in place that's going to happen for the Titans. Do you see what I'm saying? So you have a head coach that is and Mayor, you brought it up. It's probably very appealing for a defensive coordinator to look at this job and say, hey, I know I'm going to come in and get to do my job and probably not get interfered with to an extreme level. Like maybe a Vrabel would jump in on the defensive side of the ball because he's not calling plays offensively. At least we didn't think he was.
Chip on shoulder guy, too. Like FU guy coming in. Because this guy was passed over for the defense coordinator position in Philly. You know there's an element of him that's watch this. Tell me I can't do something.
Yeah, proven element. You are absolutely right.
I like that part of it, too.
Which a lot of his players, by the way, like Darius Slay was one of them, I think, right? Yep. Who just went
Hamilton.
to the mat for him.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. All right, when we come back.
A couple of weeks ago said, well, guess you should have hired this guy.
Before I tell you what's going on when we come back, I will tell you at 5:45. You'll hear a couple of bits of audio from us. Brian Callahan talking about what he, in his introductory press conference, talking about what he wanted in a defensive coordinator, because I think it aligns up pretty well. And you'll hear from Denard Wilson when he was at Philly, was asked about who are the guys that he has leaned on during his career, which I think is interesting too. That's coming up at 5:45. Next, Ramon Foster, big savagery. He was down at the Senior Bowl all week. We'll get his take next. 3HL 104.5 The Zone.
What's happening, good people? Ron Slay right here. Experts in concrete, asphalt, grading, drainage services. I've got the company for you. That is Milikin Corp. You dive into it and you say, what? Scratch your head. What exactly do they do? Well, you know all these potholes around town? You ain't got to worry about that. Smooth sailing, baby, down the road. So I would get them if I was just over Nashville and say, Milikin Corp, fixed all the streets. But that's just not how it's going to work right now. So when you're able to pick your asphalt, don't make it your fault, call the right people. That's Milikin Corp, 615-238-5909. All these craters and stuff out there in parking lots, you have an opportunity to get it fixed. You can get with Milikin Corp and get it locked in and get it done and be standing on solid ground. Matter of fact, driving on solid ground. And let me tell you the difference between Milikin Corp and normal concrete companies is that they provide top-notch customer service. You ever call companies and it's been weeks before they get a response? Nope, not with Milikin Corp. That's not how it happens. Your call gets returned in 24 hours. All you got to do is call them. 615-238-5909. Head to milikincorp.com.
3HL 104.5 The Zone. Brett Dorda, Don Davenport, Ron Slay.
Hello. Hello. Monk is quick on the dial now.
Hey now. Ramon Foster, Big Savage, rejoins us now straight from Mobile, Alabama. Big Savage, what's up?
Just got back.
Man, not much. At a basketball game, freshman basketball game, watching the boys drop like 30 on somebody right now.
Okay.
Nothing major.
Get him, June.
What school?
You don't want to know, Mayor. I promise you don't. I promise you don't. Just know it's one of your schools you like, all right? And just leave it at that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got you.
Boy, we'll keep the main thing the main thing. That's all.
Yeah, that's right. You're busy, man. How was Mobile, dude?
It was good, man. The second time around for me was a whole lot better. Just a better eye on what I was seeing and wanting to see and how I was watching a lot of the connections and coaches who were let go. I saw some of the Falcon staff there. That's where that in the combine is where business get done, man, because I saw guys with resumes. You saw a lot of on-field people shaking hands and talking and stuff like that. Real unique situation, man. So I was excited to see it the second time around.
Man, I got to ask you straight
RJ just got on the floor, Savage, stole the ball, man. Never mind.
That's daddy roll coming out right there.
I'm done.
I love it. Hey, man, I got to ask you, what did you see as far as the offensive linemen? I know they probably separated them. Did you get the opportunity to go down, stand and watch them or watch them close up? I know you had to steal Coach Mack's binoculars, but were you able to get a good eye and see any talent out there for O-lineman?
I did, man. Tyler Guyton was the guy I thought that stood out the most up there this past weekend, man. I'll say this. The tackle group and the centers were probably the highlight of the offensive line. I thought the guards somewhat struggled, but they had some guys that went both ways to play guard and center. So I wasn't sure if there was a primary or they were trying them at other positions too. But this is a deep class as far as tackles. I think they had some real good centers, also some centers that did not even show up. Didn't even show up to the Senior Bowl, that's their decision. Cedric Brand-Pran is the guy that I'm high on, man, out of Georgia as far as centers goes. Jackson Powers Johnson is another center that I'm high on, man. He ended up getting his either knee or ankle or something twisted up as far as his practice abilities, but he did so much that he's either a solid second round, late first round. Centers is such a unique position because you almost treat them like middle linebackers. Unless you have that generational guy, you can wait to get a center. And I know the Titans have a free agent, Aaron Brewer, this year that they got to make a decision on. But tackles, centers, I thought the corners were pretty solid. The tight ends were not impressive at all because that's been a very deep group at the Senior Bowl the last few years, from my understanding. And who else had a deep position? Just Marshawn Lattimore, another Marshawn that was out there that was really good. I thought Xavier Legette had a real good showing, man. Although some folks said that he didn't have a great showing the first day, that dude is an athlete. And I think they put him in some very, challenging positions to catch the ball, move in and out of the formation and stuff. It was a good showing. This is, I think, as far as the overall class, in the top 4 or 5 rounds, a really good group.
Yeah, it's interesting about Tyler Guyton. I've heard that from a couple of people that have been down there. And what's cool about that is, like, in a situation where, let's say the Titans want to acquire draft capital and move down, that's a guy you could move down and get your left tackle if you really love him. And you're right, 6'7", 328, and can move.
And looks like a former tight end, too, man. You ever met somebody as an athlete, you know what I'm saying, and you just say, man, that's unfair. Why you move like that? Like, he's 328, and he looked like he's 290. You know what I'm saying? You ever met those people? It's like, God, dog, you weigh what? And you don't realize how big they are. Like, that's him. He moved well. Now, he does he does have to refine himself and grow, and he's going to have to go to a team that's going to allow him to do those types of things, too. So I was impressed by him. I thought probably the best prospect there as far as just overall rawness on what he was capable of doing. But it wasn't just him. There was numerous other guys, man, that were pretty good out there. And I was excited to watch them, man. I'm be honest with you. They got a good group out there that's going to make a lot of teams some starters for sure.
So you think I could be a player down the road but needs some time to develop, which is not where the Titans are right now.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Depending on where you're at, I think he's a day one starter with the understanding that we're working through it. Like, that's the thing about the O-line anyway is you got to let them grow. You got to let them show what they are. Another dude that we ended up interviewing was Tali Fuaga. He was a guy, man, I thought that was real solid in his approach on how to go about practice, understood what his role was going to be, said he was okay with being a guy that if he had to move inside, he would, but he made it known that he is a left tackle, and he want to try there first. Another one, Kingsley Suamataia. It was another guy that was real solid out there, man, but all across the board, out of BYU.
Yeah.
The guys kind of showed up and did their thing. There was one guy I wasn't super high on. I'm not sure, should I do this right now or what? But he had a rough practice was Jordan Morgan. Now, the tackle out of Arizona. I know a lot of people are high on him, and he has a lot of the attributes that you love. I've told you guys before, unless I see you in person and watch your film, because of the left tackle here last year that got signed in free agency, I'm going to watch the Pac-12 guys very intently. I'll say this. The kid from BYU, Kingsley Suamataia, and also the kid from Oregon State, I thought they did really well compared to Jordan Morgan, to Tali Fuaga.
Okay. Well, so those are also guys that they could move down and get. So
they could, yes.
That's
right.
That's interesting info, man. What about wide receiver position? Do you see anybody stick out there?
Lad McConkey was the guy that kept showing up. I also like Ricky Pearsall was another guy that was real dynamic out there. And, of course, Xavier Legette. Those are the dudes I think you would love to have on your squad that you just said to yourself. Fez Walker, another one that displayed a lot of stuff.
North Carolina.
Yes, out of North Carolina, that you say to yourself, there's some stuff in there. But I'd probably say, man, second round, third round type of guys. But here's the thing, though, too. I just said it this morning on RK Dub was 7 is such a unique spot to draft out of.
Yeah.
Because top 5, a lot of people want to consider them gold jacket guys, like ready to go. Like I always bring up Joe Hayden. You know, I think Joe was like 5 or 6, but Joe Hayden was a guy, or Joe Thomas. You know, like those dudes come off Pro Bowl first year. Next thing you know, they're all pro, right? Sauce Gardner, another one of those dudes, get off the bus and they're ready to go. And that top 10 is supposed to be a ready-made starter, in my opinion. Right. If you go top 10, hey, here's your jersey, here's your shoulder pass, the playbook. Hey, be ready for week 1. and so the fact that the Titans don't have a third-round pick, I'm not a GM. I look at that and say, if I was a GM, considering if you listen to all the conversation around the draft, from Jim Nagy to the scouts that he talked to the people around the league, they have said because of the NIL and juniors going back, the back end of this draft, your 5th, 6th, and 7th round guys may not be the quality that you have had in years past, because that junior may actually make your team as a 5th round or 6th round guy, and now he's back in college to improve his draft stock. So the conversation has been you want to package up as many picks as you possibly can on the front end of this draft so that you don't catch yourself with a bottomless back end of your draft picks. And that's where I'm looking at that 7th round pick, especially with the deepness of tackles that they have. If you're telling me that this team could potentially draft a left tackle in the 1st and then a center in the 2nd round, and then you don't pick until the 4th, somewhat feels incomplete. So if I can mortgage that 7 into picking 14, and then you give me a 3, maybe another 4, we're cooking with gas then.
I mean, I'm down with that. You sounded disappointed in that idea. You want to pick 7? Or are you good with dropping to the middle of the round?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm cool. I trust in whatever they got going on. I'm gonna be honest. Like I'm with it. I'm cool with moving up too if they got something they really want to get to and they want to change up. Savage, I want to know, man. Like, did you see what networking did you see? You talked about the Atlanta Falcons. You saw a lot of that staff. Was it anybody that was networking that surprised you that you could speak about, that you were thinking, okay, man, maybe I didn't see I didn't see. Like I saw Jerry Jones plastered everywhere this morning. Like, did you see it? If you run across
Did you spend
anybody,
some time with him?
Yeah, with Jerry or something.
Man, the college coaches were there. I saw Tennessee's running back coach Jerry Mack. He was there. Kirby Smart was in the house. North Carolina had their group in the house.
Shane Beamer was there, I saw.
Yeah, he was. Their offensive coordinator was there to watch Desmond Ritter. No, not Desmond Ritter.
Spencer Rattler.
Spencer Rattler.
Yeah.
He was there to watch him also. I saw more college politicking more than I did like guys on the field moving and shaking out. As far as NFL guys go, I could tell there were some new scouts that they were introducing themselves to other teams and, people in the know. A couple of guys I know that were strength coaches or around the Atlanta Falcons program were on the field and doing some stuff like that. By the way, Thomas Stallworth told me to tell you what's up.
My guy.
Yeah, he was there.
Falcons, oh my God, man.
Yeah.
T. Stallworth.
So that's one of those guys, man, that's in that mix. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Thomas, because he was on the Atlanta team, was down there.
Yeah.
It's super interesting to watch the business of the NFL take place right in front of your face. There was this supposedly this big meetup with a bunch of people at this place called Haberdasher. Is the exact name of the club of the restaurant they were going to, and that's where a lot of those hands are shook and phones are exchanged, phone numbers are exchanged and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think that's what they used to call back in the the Wild West, like the little restaurant thing. Not the saloon, but the restaurant, the haberdashery.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's true.
That sounds like, what's the name? Sucker that? Haberdasher.
Pretty much, man. This is my personal opinion. Y'all want to hear this real quick?
Yeah.
I can say this because we're regional, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The American team, to me, had, I thought, by far the best overall talent. And you want to know why?
Why?
Mostly SEC schools. Alabama, Auburn, Babsy, your D lineman, Marcus Harris out of Auburn had a good day down there, man. Yeah. Georgia had a few dudes down there, man. And just Kentucky. And I got to give credit where credit was due, too.
Kentucky does have some players. Yep.
They do. But Missouri players that were in it, they had a tackle that showed well. Cody Schrader was down there. Darius Robinson, a D lineman, and Chris Abrams drained a DB. Missouri players showed up well, and I don't even want to give Drinkwitz that type of credit with how he beat the Vols. But now they're pros, and I can say real recognize real. He sent down a good group to Alabama, man, and it showed pretty well. Another dude that I absolutely love, do you hear me, was the big D tackle, and y'all seen him out of Texas.
The defensive tackle?
Yeah.
To Vondre Sweat. I'm telling you. Apparently he had a good conversation with a bunch of the D-line coaches. I introduced myself to him, man. He going to be a menace. Do you hear me? In the NFL. And you want to know why?
Wow.
He's big. He big, and he plays big.
Right.
Like, I love to see him in here in Nashville paired up to Big Jeff. Now, the thing is, his conditioning has to be a thing because I think, truthfully, in the NFL, he's a first and second down run stopper. Right? But all in all, when it comes down to what he is capable of, he runs well. He doesn't shy away from running to the ball. He's first up in line. And I dapped him up, and I exchanged some formalities with him and stuff like that. And he just talked about Coach Terrell talking to him. He mentioned Coach Tomlin being on his case and everything, man. Devondre Sweat, if you ever look him up, he's probably got this big old just diamond-studded medallion that says "Make 'em sweat." And when I tell y'all, I was bragging on how the interior of this group was pretty good. Every single time he was out there, he was pushing bodies back.
Yeah, he's
you know what I'm saying?
mover.
Like,
yep.
He's so big he didn't weigh in, but when you see him do work, you said, okay, well, let me draft him, get him in my program, make him lose a couple pounds, and we're going to have a dude because I'm telling you, he got it together, very charismatic. No fluff to him because he's from Texas. You feel me? Like big extra plug, Savage.
Yeah.
Yeah, them horns down him.
He does his
He'll freak
thing,
out.
man. Yeah.
That's dope, man.
Hey, great stuff, Ramon. Enjoy the basketball game. Thanks for calling us with the Senior Bowl information. Good stuff.
Absolutely, man. Y'all keep crushing it.
All right.
Hey.
You too. Ramon
Get
Kayla
some
Wilson.
sleep, man. He's been busy all day.
Rocking and rolling.
6 to 10 weekday mornings on
Heard him on
104.5 The
this
Zone.
morning, yeah.
Yep.
Can y'all see the chain?
We've got Senior Bowl highlights on the
Yeah.
NFL Network right
huge.
now. You're showing us the chain now.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
It's funny, like some of the highlights that they have showed include him and just moving dudes.
Yeah.
it's a big old boy.
Interior offensive line. 1045 The Zone headed to Vegas to broadcast live from Radio Row.
Oh,
Tune
yeah.
in as 3HL gets exclusive interviews and talks with tons of very special guests that you won't hear anywhere else starting February 7th. That's next Wednesday through Friday. Thanks to our friends at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, among others.
Way to hold us down.
Yep. When we come back, you'll hear from new Titans defensive coordinator Denard Wilson, who about a year ago kind of went through guys that he has leaned on in his career. It's an interesting soundbite. And then Brian Callahan, new Titans coach, what was he going to look for in a defensive coordinator? He said this during his introductory press conference. We'll see if it matches up with who he hired. That's coming up. Stay tuned. 3HL 1045 The Zone.
Twitch, please. Have you ever thought about having wireless service and internet from the same provider? Guess what? You can do it. You can do it with Xfinity. Yes. Maybe you want a mobile plan that keeps you connected and doesn't drain your bank account. You want to afford it? Well, from Xfinity, the home of the 10G network, the future starts now. Discover the nation's best kept secret and switch to Xfinity Mobile. Now with the best price for 2 lines of unlimited. You can join the millions who save hundreds a year with Xfinity Mobile. It is one of the fastest growing mobile services with 5G and millions of Wi-Fi hotspots. $30 a line per month with unlimited data when you get 2 lines. Go ahead and switch to Xfinity Mobile, rated #1 in quality and #1 in value. They do have mobile plans that start at $15 a month, too. Just go to Xfinity.com, find out about Xfinity Mobile, call 1-800-XFINITY, or just visit a store today.
Gupton Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. That's where you need to go to get that next new vehicle. My guy, Daniel Gupton, Ken Gupton, their crew, ready to help you out. Just tell them what you're looking for. More space, less of a payment, better gas mileage. Whatever you're looking for, they'll be able to help you. No pressure at all. They simply want you in the vehicle that's right for you, and that's what will happen. Go take your test drive. Go inside. They will help make the numbers work, and it will be that easy. It'll be the best vehicle buying experience you've ever had, and you'll tell everybody. And then when you need another car, you'll go back to them, and that's the way it happens. I've bought multiple vehicles from them. They're awesome people. 3450 Tom Austin Highway in beautiful Springfield, Tennessee. Just 30 minutes from downtown Nashville. Check them out online, GuptonMotors.com. All of the dealership information is there that you need. All of the inventory is there as well, so you can peruse what they have on the lot when it gets late. GuptonMotors.com. 3450 Tom Austin Highway, just 30 minutes from downtown Nashville. That's Gupton Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. 3HL 104.5 The Zone. Brett Doherty, Don Davenport, Ron Slay. Did y'all see Marvin Harrison Jr. wearing an Oilers hat?
I saw that
at the Senior Bowl.
I saw that.
Or is that where he was?
There's
Where
a
was
whole
he?
lot of talk about it.
No, that was the Ohio State game.
Ohio State basketball.
They honored him at
yeah.
halftime.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd wear it too. It's an awesome hat.
I have one. It's bad.
Bad to the bone.
Yeah, new defensive coordinator is for the Titans, Ravens defensive back coach Denard Wilson. And you asked Coach Mack, we had Coach Mack on because he actually hired the new wide receiver coach, Tyke Tolbert, earlier in his career. But we asked him about Denard Wilson because he knew him from the Rams, which is where he worked with Rand Carthon for 5 years as well. But you asked a great question to Coach Mack about who are some of the guys that Denard Wilson has used as mentors. And about a year ago, he was still with Philly when he was asked that very question, and he answered this way.
Look, I've been doing this for a long time, and I've been around some great defensive coordinators, in my opinion. You know, I've been groomed by Greg Williams. I've been groomed by Todd Bowles, who are very good in this league, and they're very thorough. Yeah. I've been tutored by them. I know how to run a ship. I know, the responsibility. So if the opportunity presents itself, I'll be ready for it. But I'm here where my feet are, all right, and I'm just trying to be the best defensive back coach that I could be.
You know the first thing I thought of when I heard that soundbite? He sounds a lot like Avery Johnson.
You know who he sounds like to me?
Who?
He sounds a little bit like Derek Mason, but his voice is not as deep.
A little bit like Derek Mason. Play
I can hear Avery Johnson in him too.
Play a little bit more of Denard Wilson, if you don't mind me going back on you. I just want to see if I hear Avery Johnson in it.
Look, I've been doing this for a long time, and I've been around some great defensive coordinators, in my opinion. You know, I've been groomed by Greg Williams. I've been groomed by Todd Bowles, who are very good in this league, and they're very thorough. I've been tutored by them. I know how to run it.
So the reason why that stands out to me is because Avery Johnson's voice is my favorite voice. And I actually told him that one time at SEC Media Day, and he looked at me like I was crazy. But which I'm like, look, if you're going to look at me like I'm crazy and think that's the first time that I've seen that from somebody. I know. Yeah, I get that a lot. You got any Avery Johnson?
Pretty much most people who've ever been involved in the NBA for 20, 30 years. No, we wouldn't want one anyway with only one timeout left.
I love this hire because I get to listen to Denard Wilson's voice now.
I'm with you on that. They sound exactly the same. Yeah.
I need to see where they're both from. That's the next. So when Brian Callahan was hired, he did his introductory press conference, and he got some really big picture questions, and one of those was about the defense. Like, what do you want your defense to look like? And it's interesting now that he has a defensive coordinator. Does Denard Wilson kind of fit what he, in a big picture sense, outlined in his introductory press conference when talking about his defense?
At the end of the day, you got to have a very flexible and adaptable defense. You still have to be physical. You still have to run and hit. You have to tackle well. You have to force errors. There's a lot of things you can do that in the coverage structure game, in the pressure package game, where it makes it really hard on an offense. And so I know what gives me problems. I know the hard defenses to game plan against, and those are the things that I'm looking for in the style of defense we're going to play.
You know what give him problems, yeah. Exactly. You want to get that on your side. Have an opportunity to see it daily. Have your players adjust to it, yeah.
So Sam Phelan pointed out Callahan's Bengals averaged just 176 passing yards in 2 games this season against Denard Wilson's secondary in 2023.
Well, there you go.
Hit that one more time.
Can he bring Kyle Hamilton with him?
Lord.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Put him next to Monty Hooker.
Oh, my God.
Don't disrespect anyone out there.
Nah, what's the name? Golly. He went on IR, too. Back there with a Monty Hooker.
So many people went on IR that it's really difficult to keep up with all the guys.
Monty, man. Monty could take a step this year. It's gonna be. I thought he took a step this past year,
but now he gets a full offseason to know that he's the primary communicator. He's the dude that everybody's gonna look up to back there.
Yep, leadership, man. Time to jump into another role.
Kayvon Wallace, Elijah Molden, Terrell Edmonds, all those guys played safety.
Yeah, hey, that's too real.
What are they gonna do with Christian Fulton?
Yeah.
Bye.
By the way, you pulled up some, was it you that pulled up some Roger McCreary numbers that somebody put out there? I can't remember who put it out there, but he gave up 7 touchdowns last season, 0 this year.
Yeah.
That dude played his butt off.
That's what, when we look at this defense, I know there's a lot of holes they're going to have to fill, but they have solid pieces at every level with Big Jeff, with Harold Landry, with McCreary, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know that
they need
3
inside
guys,
linebackers.
but there's definitely some holes to fill, but you've got at least some solid pieces in place.
Right. And do you bring back Danico Autry? Can you bring back Danico Autry, unrestricted free agent? Because him and Big Jeff, when they're together, that is tough to deal with.
Yeah.
I'm curious
it's gonna
to
be hard
see
to
what
replace
the
that.
market dictates that he's worth.
Because he's going to be 34.
He's going to be 34.
Yeah.
And also because he's playing next to Big Jeff. I mean, that makes him better.
Yep.
To be able to play on the field with Big Jeff, because Big Jeff demands
No question.
so much attention, or a double team or whatever. Like, that certainly helps Danico, right?
Yeah. So if Azeez Al-Shire, he's also an unrestricted free agent, and he led the team in tackles with, what was it, 163, something like that?
163, yeah.
That dude's going to get paid. All right? So if you lose him, then
Do
you've
you
got...
think? Because there were
Yes.
times where...
Yes.
Okay.
I'm with you.
Both y'all.
I'm
but
with
there
you
were
where you
times
going. I know
I
exactly
think
where
you
you're
might
going.
be able to retain. Yeah.
I know where you're going with
Right.
it, but I think people are going to... It only takes a couple to negotiate against each other.
I'm with you on that.
That is true.
I think you can go get another one. You can go get another one of
That was able
Azeez
to
that got something
provide
to prove.
what you need.
Yeah, I do think
so.
that.
You're saying there was some wrong gap stuff, some plays left on the field stuff.
I think a whole lot,
A whole
especially
lot of it.
early. Like when
especially
it was
early. Yes,
Yeah.
I thought he got better though.
I thought
Remember
like
looking in the backfield?
mid-season there was some moments where you're like, "Come on, dude."
Yeah, especially in pass coverage. You know what I mean? He looked a little small at times. I'm not. That
He
ain't
is
taking
small.
nothing from him. Yeah,
Ish. He's small-ish, yes.
But it's one thing. David Long was small too, but he played big.
Yeah, but
in
almost
between
10
the
tackles per game is production.
And can I point out that this conversation is about him getting paid, not
this ain't
about
ain't
it's not
questioning
about
his performance or
him
nothing, yeah.
of wanting him
Productivity.
back if you're the Titans. Do you
Well-
know what I mean? This just pointing that out to say maybe those could be reasons to why he
Right.
wouldn't get a big paycheck elsewhere.
If he does leave, okay, your current inside linebackers would then be Dr. Gibby
Oy.
and Luke Gifford or Otis Reese. And
Yeah.
Otis Reese showed up,
He
but
played
you want
ball.
to talk about a small guy.
Yeah, but those guys. Nah, you gotta go get a guy.
Yeah.
Otis Reese
couple.
is a
Couple guys.
rotational guy.
Yeah.
But man, he's productive.
Well.
He gets you want to talk about flying to the football.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they got a problem at inside linebacker.
Well.
Yeah.
And so if Danico Autry leaves, then what? TK McClendon, Marlon Davidson. You got to get somebody there too.
And you don't realize how many spots to fill till you start breaking it down like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did it yesterday.
Yeah.
Where we went through
the offensive linemen.
line and we were like, oof.
These guys are back, and you're like, oh my gosh, they're all rotational players.
That's why, man, you gotta have some patience coming into this year. I'm
You're already going to set the bar right now.
There's too many holes to
Dude,
fill.
It's just a whole lot of holes to fill.
Lot of holes.
I still think they can be successful, though, if they
It's like potholes out here.
do the right things in free
Right.
agency. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
Somebody got to be explosive. That offense or something.
So the Titans roster is like I-40 right now. What's coming up next, huh?
That'd be the
Perhaps.
3HL after party.
Let's get to it.
Sounds good to me. Friday coming up tomorrow.
Friday!
Trash Talk Friday, Tennessee, Kentucky
Yeah.
coming up on Saturday.
Better know it.
Kentucky Nation, get ready for Slay.
I'm ready.
BBN, he's ready.
I'm wearing a big
All right, love y'all. Thanks for listening. Thanks for including us in your day. Be sure to spread the word about 3HL and the Zone. Love you. Good night. God bless.
see ya.
Wouldn't want to be ya. Go Vols.